All right, we are live.
What up? It's your boy Lovecraft, back with the fish people again. I can't get that picture out of my fucking head.
I love that thing. Except every time I read it, I just read it with a really weird accent.
Yeah, exactly.
Your boy Lovecraft here.
Like that Bostonian accent.
Back again with the fish people.
Back again with the fish people.
I need to find the comic that is from. I need to find whatever that is from and buy it.
Absolutely. Oh my god, frame it and put it on your fucking wall.
Please do.
I need to find out what the actual text he's saying is from. Anyway.
Is that actually Lovecraft on that front page?
It looks like it.
It looks remarkably like him, for sure.
Either that or it's like a stand-in character for him or something.
Yeah.
I mean, there was the webcomic for a while, Lovecraft is Missing, which was great. It was an amazing Lovecraft webcomic, and then the artist died, unfortunately.
ERB put out like a Facebook post asking for competitions that they could record for their rap battles.
Mm-hmm.
And I forget who I put Lovecraft against, but apparently it got a little traction.
Oh, nice! I've been waiting for Lovecraft.
It was Lovecraft versus Isaac Asimov.
Oh my god, yes!
Asimov, yeah.
I did.
Asimov,
Yes, I did Lovecraft or Poe or Lovecraft and Stephen King. But then
They already had that
Stephen
rap
King.
battle.
well, yeah, but
Yeah,
that
they
was
did
before.
Stephen King.
This was before that.
Well, yeah.
But anyway.
Oh, it was before that one came out.
Yeah.
Because it was Poe versus King, if I remember. Anyway, all right. Getting off track. My fault. That was totally my fault. So welcome back, everybody. I know it's been a little bit. And we left on kind of a cliffhanger where you guys got into the Wild Fae.
You mean
And
Feywild?
so over. I always get the two confused because I'm pretty sure I've been saying it wrong this whole time.
No, you've been saying Feywild.
Well, I'm pretty sure it's the Wild Fae. Anyway, Feywild. We'll just go with that. It's canon.
Where the wild fae are.
You guys had gone through that creepy underpassage with the twisted relics. Didn't seem to do anything. Yeah, the Nope Tunnel. And came out into the extraplanar realm thanks to your bard, Thalia.
Well, I mean, we were under
Yo.
the impression we had to catch up after Miss Drow Woman / Varys's previous love interest.
Love interest, huh?
Don't let Varys hear you.
We're gonna need a new sorcerer.
Yeah, we are.
It's in my notes. My notes can't be wrong.
Hey, love interest a la 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but
I think it's a one-sided love interest.
that's a love interest like Hannibal Lecter loves liver. I mean, seriously, no.
Damn. So, last we left you guys, you had just emerged from the Nope Tunnel into the Wild Fae itself. Feywild, fuck. And
All game.
yeah, it's going to happen all game because I actually looked it up because I needed to do research for this arc. And it was wild, the Wild Fae plane. So now I'm going to have against what I've already been saying versus what it actually is.
The book calls it the Feywild. It does not call it the Wild Fae.
I'm just saying, you know, this why change habits now just because something is called something like Andrew's cats.
I know. Fuck you, number one. Number two, it's not the fact.
It's pronounced Jif, Sarge. It's pronounced Jif.
No, it's Jiffa. There's two F's.
Oh, that's true.
I'm sorry, there's no umlaut. It's Jeef.
It's the simple fact that now, even though I know I've been pronouncing it the one way, I have this other way in my head now, and it's clashing. So I'm going to be saying them both. I guarantee it. I'm going to be cursing at myself for it.
Like an ass.
Like ass both. Okay, so you guys have emerged into a high point in the area, and in the distance you see the outer city of Nythh Dorei.
How do you spell that?
I'm about to show you.
Ooh,
I was gonna say I have it. Oh, hey, look.
that is not how I pictured that.
Hashtag same.
Ick as fuck.
I like it.
Ooh.
It almost seems like the spires are multiply amongst themselves as it goes down through the valley. The tallest one, a small speck of green, can be seen at the top from how far away you guys are. However, trees and branches and vines seem to crawl their way through the spires underneath, and you're not sure if the shiny bronze is a part of the tree or if it was made and then integrated with the trees around it. But it seems almost seamless as it goes through from your vantage point. A large set of natural wooden walls extend around, but from where you are, you can't see any seams. You don't see individual logs. It just seems very magnificent from where you are. Heavy fogs surround it in all directions, giving you glimpses every now and then of different terrain. At one point, you think you see a desert. Another, you think you see a massive forest of red. But nothing ever seems to stay in place for very long. Can anybody make me perception checks? Please and thank you.
Let's do it.
Give me a minute.
Oh, I need to actually open my character sheet. Gosh.
Yeah, I forgot to open my character sheet too.
Holy shit.
Perception. We're gonna pop this out.
Bia sees all and all of her regrettable life decisions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Okay.
Oh.
Going good.
Oh.
Going good.
All right.
Going good.
So,
I got a natural 1.
Hallis, Varys, and Athalia, you guys are all distracted by the genuine beauty of Nythh Dorei. However, Bia and Othrix, as you guys, you appreciate it, but you also appreciate the bronze-tipped spear that is very close to your proximity at the moment and pointed right at you,
Yep.
all of you.
Yep.
And it's not just one, there's multiples.
I believe the welcoming committee has arrived.
Hey, Thalia, do we need papers to get in here?
Dang, I think I left mine somewhere in my other pants about 100 years ago.
I have mine.
Of
Yeah.
course you do.
I
As
have
she-
papers, but none of them are mine.
As you guys turn around, you see that there are a line of soldiers that have somehow surrounded you from behind, from where you have exited the portal, or the note tunnel, I guess we'll call it.
Oh, sorry. Out of character, just remember, guys, none of us have had rest or long rests. So anything that happened last game carries over.
That's correct.
Yep.
Thank you, Josh. They're not moving. They're very still, and it's very clear that any wrong move will spurn them into action. They're like coiled serpents at the moment. But underneath the pale gunmetal gray helmets and brown tunics and chest plates, they are very still. They're not really acting aggressively until one person comes through and addresses you all. Moment.
Character art.
I'll have to ask you all your business here, please. We really don't want any trouble, but we will enact force if we have to.
Is this a...
Says a voice from one of the helmets.
Okay. Othrix just has his hands kind of raised. Althalia.
Yeah, okay.
The voice seems to freeze when Othrix says Athalia. And he slowly stands up and pulls off his helmet to reveal a mop of red hair and green eyes that just look completely shocked.
He looks like a fuckboy.
He is not a fuckboy.
He's Elven. Of course he looks like a fuckboy.
Why is he prettier than I am?
Cause you're a Goliath.
I'm an IRL, but okay.
Author's got edges away.
Wow, you are so mean, John.
Right?
I mean, he is an elf. Like, that's, of course, he looks more pretty than girls.
That's
Their
true.
job.
That is kind of their job. So the redhead has gone even paler than a normal elf would. He looks like he's seen a ghost, and he kind of stutters for a moment as he tries to gather words to talk. And he finally says, "I assume Athalia is not a name that is passed around lightly in Celestia."
Nope.
Is it really you? You
Yeah.
died.
No, actually I didn't. We're back. Well, I'm back for family reasons.
He kind of nods slowly. That's strange, but I'm glad to see you anyway.
Yay. Somebody likes me in this town.
He snaps real quick, and instantly all of the other soldiers straighten up and pull their spears upright. You guys got close enough to see that the spears had individual flutes that made them look almost like a maple leaf pointed towards you. But they also look very, very sharp. He quickly puts his helmet back on, looks toward all of you. And I assume you are with the Lady Athalia.
Something like that.
Yes, we are.
I'm just gonna look at Varys. Not a fucking princess, bitch.
Starting to sound like a princess.
We are her escort. Yes.
Interesting. Well, not sure how this is going to go over, but I can guarantee that at the very least we can get you in the city safely, because there's much business and much information you need to catch up on if you're truly back.
I'm back for a little bit.
Any time from the dead is time that's well worth savoring. And with a small smirk, he puts his helmet back on and quickly instructs everybody to give you, basically escort you through the Feywild.
Aw, yeah.
Author's eyebrows raised just a little bit, and he just kind of.
And you're totally not a princess.
Nope.
I'm starting to side with the drow on this one. You're not a princess?
I'll explain when we get to my house.
You have a house?
Okay.
Yeah, it's
Only
not in this
royalty has
city.
houses.
No, it's not royalty. It's just rich people.
Yep.
That classism. So, as he doesn't talk a whole bunch while you guys walk. Athalia, you know this is par for the course for him. He's a little shy around lots of people, but he's extremely confident.
Shy.
Competent, not confident. He organizes his people really effectively. Damn.
I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
To everybody else, it almost seems you're walking in essentially silence. At least from the elves that are surrounding you. You do catch a few of them looking your way, Varys, but nothing is actually said, and nobody makes any movements towards you. But they're definitely very. You feel a little off-put. Everybody else, especially Bia, you're not getting the same looks as Varys of suspicion, essentially. But it's clear that none of them have seen anybody like you before.
All right, Sarge. How much side eye are we talking here? Are we talking like novelty level side eye, or like I'm afraid I'm gonna get mugged side eye?
Like
Any one of these guys, if they were by themselves, I would say not all of them. There's about 10 people, right? 3 of them you wouldn't want to be alone in an alley with.
Oh, cross the street level side eye.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, obviously, everybody would know this. The Drow, so far as Celestia goes, they are just as bad as in any other D&D scenario. They're in the Underdark. They're the next best things to demons and devils. They torture and pillage for fun. They find sadistic glee in it. And are basically massive hedonists, but they don't actually do anything good with their lives. They take slaves, they rape, they pillage, they plunder, all for the sake of their goddess.
Angry spider bitch.
Yeah. So the Drow are the next best thing to the boogeyman. They've only had really clear exits from the mountain ranges, especially in the Zagos Mountains. Which is where majority of the dwarves live and mine. So the dwarves and the Drow consistently fight. Like there's always some sort of battle line somewhere deep in the Zagos Mountains. But you know for a fact, especially after having coming out in Elysia, you were lucky to come out there, where there were basically people who were a bit more open-minded for a lot of other races, because everybody's a melting pot there in the Undercity.
And cave-ins kind of help.
Exactly. So you have a status in that area, and you're I don't want to say you're folk legend, but word has spread a little bit of the good Drow,
the good one.
essentially. Yeah,
I've
the
got
good
a couple
one.
folk songs written about you. You're good.
Yeah, that's why you weren't exactly accosted in Shromnus, but now you're out of your neck of the woods. Your name doesn't matter much here.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Elven
Well,
Drow have been.
I'm waiting for side eye to progress into you're an invader and I'm gonna kill you.
Just entered Alabama.
Yeah, if you weren't with royalty, then yeah, you probably would have been killed by now.
Told you
I'm
you
not
were a
royalty,
princess.
goddammit.
Authorx
Nobility. My apologies. Wrong word.
Thank you.
Authorx is completely unaware about this and just looking around him excitedly.
Yeah.
He is giving side eye back.
Your side idea is more like a circus sideshow.
No, I think she's giving side eye back because no one side eyes her punching buddy.
Yeah.
There you go.
Little children
Only
are like
I get to make his life miserable.
Little children are looking and pointing excitingly at you.
I'm
Why is
growling.
this woman so big?
As you guys are
Mom, look,
walking,
the mage has made a new golem.
Huge tracts of land.
huge tracts of land. I imagine. On a side note, she's what, like 8 foot tall, something like that.
I thought she was 7.5 because you wouldn't let me
7.5.
go for 8.
That's right. I did put her on the shorter side because otherwise doors would actually be a legitimate problem.
So
So I imagine that if she did wear a bra, it would probably fit on my head, like 1 cup.
I don't need to. What?
I mean, she's a fucking tall person. Anyway.
Okay. New topic.
no, go on.
So-
I'm intrigued.
as you guys are walking silently through the forest, you do see things out of perception. This is the densest forest any of you have been in, to the point where you can only see 2 or 3 trees deep before it just goes completely black. There are shadows, there are noises that you don't recognize, animal calls that are completely foreign to you. All in all, it's just an unnerving experience because everything is just so different.
Oh, see, and I'm starting to relax at this point.
Yeah, Thalia, you're at home. This stuff, you haven't been here in 150 years, and it's bringing everything back. The moss under your feet, the smell of the dense wood around you, you can even start picking out a couple different species that you've recognized and hunted in the past. It's very familiar and it's very warm. Everybody else is fucking. You guys are starting to get a little uneasy, especially when you see what looks like a 12-foot tall deer slipping between the shadows,
What?
almost as if it's following you.
What?
Oh, hold on, sorry. My alarm's going off. It doesn't get closer, doesn't get farther away, but you do catch the shadow every so often.
Please tell me that not all of the fauna and flora are that size.
I don't really remember. I was pretty young when I left.
Mm-hmm.
I forget how old I am.
I don't.
200s?
Yeah, I think
I'm
we said 200s.
254.
There you go.
So, yeah, I was only about 100 when I left here.
All right, who let out their Patronus?
So it takes you guys probably about 2 hours of walking. There is no concept of distance, especially down here in the forest. Where you were at had perspective over the city, but as soon as you walked into the forest, you lost all landmarks. There's nothing that stands out. You swear you've seen the same tree 4 or 5 times by now. However, the red-haired elf just keeps going forward, very confident in his steps. Eventually, around the 2-hour mark, the tree line seems to open, and you get a close-up view of the city. And it's even more spectacular from the ground because you can tell that the what looked like bronze initially from up top is actually you can see very small lines of growth. This was some sort of a tree at one point. Very natural, very flowing, and it just makes it all the more real that this is a part of the forest as much as it is a city. The walls themselves look like solid brambles. And there are 2 guards standing outside that look like the people who are escorting you, backed up by a very large animated set of rocks.
Oh.
It says it takes boulder chested to an entirely new level, as it's just massive and covered in thorns and vines that seem to be animating it.
Would I be able to recognize this as like a golem?
Absolutely, yes. This is an animated golem of some sort. You don't know how. You do know that this is not an elemental per se. This is animated by magical means.
Okay.
Um,
Othrix is just kind of getting out his notebook and quickly taking notes, glancing up.
The red-haired elf walks up and gives a quick signal. The 2 people beside it nod, and somehow, you're not sure how, the gates start opening. They haven't made any moves. There's no switches or anything nearby. But the thick oaken panels that make up the large front gate start to slide forward and open for you all, allowing you entry. Base level, there are a whole bunch of... Hold on, let me see if I can find... Oh, wait, I didn't grab that one. Never mind. I didn't grab that photo. Oops. There are a whole bunch of trees of various types and growths and thicknesses that make up the houses. And essentially, it looks like people carved directly into them and created small little awnings out the front of the trees. All different levels. There's the stairs winding across every direction that you can imagine. Pulley system with ropes. Small monuments carved out of stone that you can't recognize. Just scattered all over the place. It feels like a lower class area, based off of what you guys know of everybody else. But even these lower class areas, comparatively to the spires that you see in front of you, are way better than any slums that you guys have been in, like Lorness or Stromness. As soon as you walk in, all eyes point toward you. There's a couple people milling about the street, and eyes go wide, hands go to mouths. Nobody talks. The entire street fucking goes quiet as they all look at you.
Another day on the town.
What?
I just imagine him like mad dogging, like, what? What? You want to go? Come at me.
Down.
Not quite mad dogging, but that, can I help you?
Bia's just gonna crack her neck. Not even with a hand, just by turning the head and staring.
Oh,
Jesus.
Painful.
No, actually, it's quite relaxing.
And I mean, you shouldn't hurt yourself too much. We have to keep up our presentation.
Must be nice to be so relaxed your muscles and bones don't pop.
It is. I hear there's this elven art called yogot.
Yo. Joshua.
I think I'm gonna pass on that.
The redhead turns around, whispers to, gives a couple quick hand signals to one of the members of your entourage, and the guy just turns off and books it. Like, very efficient run, but a run nonetheless. And he finally turns around to all of you as the gates start to close behind you and says, "Welcome to Nythh Dorei. I apologize, it's not a more elegant entrance, especially for a returning family member, but the best we can do in
Longest
such short
opening credits ever.
Wait, you guys do more pretentious? I think this is pretentious enough.
This is he kind of looks at you for a moment, and, like, up at you, and he shies a little bit. I apologize. Not used to visitors.
I think you're gonna make him blush, Bea.
He turns to the rest of you and motions after the guy. I sent for the stewardess of your house and the family, the head of the family that's caretaking for you since you've been gone.
Princess.
If you could follow me, we'll make sure that you get your accoutrements for you and your associates are taken care of.
Accoutrements.
That would be lovely.
Princess.
You say princess one more time, and I'm gonna shoot you in the foot with my arrow.
Hey,
Arthur,
Athalia, will you
I
let
don't
me
have an
try on
arrow,
your
but I'll
tiara?
find one.
You gotta hit me first.
Can I try on your tiara, Athalia?
Damn.
Arthurix just gives a slight bow to Valfir and says,
Whoops.
"We are indebted to your aid. Greatly appreciate your help, and we look forward to enjoying your great city."
I'm merely an officer. I don't need accolades like that, but thank you. I appreciate it.
He's excited.
If you come this way, and he turns around, starts leading you guys through a few side streets. It takes a little longer, probably about 20 to a half hour to get through the lower level of the city. You feel a slight incline as you go toward the massive center spire. And things start to get more elegant and more intricately carved as you go up. More different types of shiny materials are used in the construction of the awnings and houses. Brighter fabrics are used that seem to shimmer in the sunlight.
Sorry, Sarge.
Yes, sir.
Apart from the guards that we saw, what's the military presence like in this city?
So far, the people around you are the only people you've seen.
Okay.
Now, I would like to make an emphasis on seen.
Got it.
So you don't know anything about these people yet. They could be just silently following you for all you know. or there could just be very few people on the walls. You don't know yet.
Okay.
If
I
there's
don't like any of the options.
Even the poorest clothing that you've encountered so far, again, is worlds better in quality than you've seen on even middle class people in Celestia. They don't seem to be gaunt or starving, but a few of them do look to be less well off. There's a few. The clothes are much duller. They're of a less fancy cut or fitted cuts. Not as elegant, almost. But everybody looks at you all the same way. They quickly part out of the street. Children are pulled very close. It's not that they're scared of you, at least of everybody but the drow. But there are a lot of terrified faces. They're not sure what to do. So they just let you go by with the soldier. Eventually you come to a small set of stairs that winds its way up, almost as if the planks themselves had been hammered into the side of a tree. But instead of hammered, it's almost like they grew out of the side, creating a natural stairway upward. And after a flight or two, you come to essentially a small tree house. It's a gazebo of some sort, much larger than you're used to. Thalia, this is basically like a small meeting place. What's considered a private hall in the area. Have you been wearing your necklace out or under your clothing at the moment? Under. Okay.
It doesn't go out unless I need to pull it out for something.
Okay. The redhead lets you all sit. Waves the soldiers away except for one or two. And somehow they make it seem like they're not standing guard at the doorway, but it's pretty obvious that they are. They're very casual about it. It doesn't seem like they're going to, they're antsy or, they're there to make sure you stay there. But I mean, Hallis, you've been in enough situations of being in a room where you're not allowed to exit that it's pretty clear these guys are meant to keep you where you are.
Wow. Imagine being so stiff that you just look like a statue as soon as you step away.
Mm-hmm.
It's quite
These guys are extremely coordinated and well trained. But then again, you do 200 years of drills and see if you don't do it. So the redhead turns to you all and again shyly apologizes. This isn't meant to be aggressive, but any visitors do have to be here for somebody essentially, and your caretakers are on their way. If you want, we have a couple servants that can bring out some food or drink if you're hungry or thirsty. We'll make sure that your needs are met. Feel free to take the weight off your shoulders and sit down for a little while. And as he's a little stiff about it, as though he's like not used to using this policy or the words coming out of his mouth.
Oh God, we actually have to visit our immigration policy. Do we still do visas?
I mean, this is technically a closed country, so I don't think a visa would matter. Closed borders. So he looks at Athalia, and that nervousness and that unsure nature that he has just kind of seems to melt for a moment as a warm smile crosses his face. And he says, I hope that I get to see you again soon. And once this business is concluded, I look very forward to catching up with you again.
Yay, somebody in this town likes me.
Or has been carrying a torch for you.
I should hope so.
I was gonna say.
There's it's very clear that there's something there. He nods softly, kind of looks down for a moment as though he's like unsure what else to say or if more needs to be said, before nodding again, turning around and walking away. So you guys have a moment. There's a beautiful view out of the gazebo. The terrace, I should say. It's much bigger than a gazebo. The tables are all intricately carved, masterfully polished. They have a small shine to them, even though it's natural wood. Like Arthurix, I'm pretty sure you'd be testing the wood. Like, how did they get it to shine like this?
Oh yeah, he is just taking notes. He is scribbling. He is sketching.
The architecture is very flowing. The beams run into the ceiling. Again, it looks like it had grown out of the trees, but upon a little closer inspection, it was crafted to look that way. They took immaculate care to make sure that everything looked like it was a part of the surrounding area. You guys have not seen craftsmanship like this before in your life. Varys, the Undercity is known for its like underground luxury items, essentially. Smiths of all types, crafters come to that area so they can carve out a bit of their own territory for very little. Arthurix, you know that the Lost House frequently carries luxury items out of the Undercity of Elysia and illegally purports them throughout the land. Reports? That may not be the right word. But yeah, you've shipped some of that stuff.
Packing it is a bitch.
Yeah, especially if you don't want it scratched by the time it gets to the other side of the Dark Shore. But all of you who have seen these luxury items have not seen something as well made as this. The chairs that you're sitting on, you can tell that they are the least of which people sit in this place, are miles beyond the finest chairs that you've sent. Just the attention that's gone into them.
I feel like after this, I'm gonna need to go to. Yeah. Well, I'm gonna need to go to someplace shady to detox from all the pretentiousness in here. You have a really nice home, Athalia. They seem to. What's with Ginger?
It's a long story that we may or may not have time for.
I'm guessing there's no spark notes.
No.
Athalia, you got time. The quickest that anybody is going to get here is probably an hour from now.
I think she's trying to say it's too long a story to tell because she doesn't want to tell it, not because she's actually concerned about the time.
True.
I mean, he did seem quite taken with you.
Well, he should.
Oh.
We were set to be married. At one point.
Oh.
Careful, Bia. That water you're spitting up's worth more than some of your people on your crew.
So,
it's smart water.
Is there any refreshments besides the water? Is there?
Yes, there's a set of there's a pitcher of water set out already.
Mm-hmm.
Or I should say, not my apologies, not a pitcher of water. There seems to be a natural fountain set into one of the countertops, and a set of small wooden glasses next to it, as well as some preserved items. That's the word I'm looking for. Like small jerkies and things like that that are essentially put out so that in case this is ever used, they have access to it immediately. You
don't eat the peanuts in the mini bar.
there are some exotic nuts that you've never seen before. The jerky smells really good, but it's a light blue color that you've never seen before. Just everything is just off.
I'm eating everything.
Oh, it's all delicious, trust me. But you just don't know what it is.
Fuck it, I've eaten Stranger Things.
Arthurix kind of joins in after carefully sniffing it a little bit, putting it a little bit on his tongue.
I shove it in his mouth when he's sniffing at it. Just...
The jerky in particular is very palatable for you. It's a very rich, deep, beefy texture. It doesn't feel like there's any preservatives in it either.
Interesting.
Oh, you should try this. This is delicious.
Athalia, they're basically eating the equivalent of
potpourri
bar peanuts for you.
Yeah. It's okay. I've been eating whatever the humans make.
This is worlds better than that. You're just like, thank God, real food. 150 years and I lost my appetite. So you guys, partway through talking, probably about 20 minutes in, two satyrs show up. Othrix, you in particular notice this because you've only heard tales of satyrs. Nobody's actually, there's been a couple legends of some that have been spotted in the forests, like the Elderwood or the Masthead Forest. And they're all surrounding tricksters, like tricking kids into their deaths or, tricking travelers out of their money, stuff like that. So the fact that there's two very demure, servant-looking satyrs that come up in simple green tunics carrying plates of steaming food and a tray of different types of drinks seems to... Your first impression isn't one of peace. It's, oh God, all these tales are true.
I've wandered into a land of demons and myth.
Hallis, you would especially know the some of the tales surrounding the masthead and satyrs. So you also would probably be a little on edge.
Othrix just kind of puts down the handful of beef jerky he had been chewing on, and his fur just kind of begins to ruffle a little bit.
The satyrs don't talk to anybody. They don't make eye contact. They don't make any movements toward anybody. All they do simply is come to the main table, place the trays down, and after they pull back and kind of hold their hands in front of themselves with their heads bent, a quick nod toward all of you, and they turn around and walk out the front. Same pace, not hurried. It's clear that this has been repeated. This motion has been repeated many times.
As soon as they left, Bia removes her fingers from her ears, where she has had them plugged the entire time while humming loudly to herself.
Oh gosh.
Is anybody going to mention to Bia that that's the siren myth?
No, it's satyrs too.
Anything that starts with an S, apparently.
Athalia, is that true?
What?
That the mere voice, that not only can sirens seduce with their voices, but satyrs can as well?
Athalia, no, that's completely false.
No, that's total crap.
Don't they use like
They-
pan flutes and shit?
They tell only lies.
And they steal your voice.
What? I hadn't heard that one. What?
Well, when you live as long as I have, you have time to dig down
Will
the
you
truth.
stop messing with her?
Othrix,
Is there anything that you guys would like to discuss while you're waiting here? You got probably about 45 minutes until anybody of any import shows up.
So
the
what are
food
we
is that-
gonna do?
Well, I guess we're gonna find out who killed my family.
And kill them.
You mean wait for them to try to kill us because it's
Yeah.
yes, I think we might need to know who our enemies and allies might be in this city.
allies? The people in this room, excluding the guards.
We're standing
What-
right
you
here,
can-
sir.
Varys, can you make me a perception check real quick?
I think a healthy amount of paranoia is in good order.
You notice as soon as you say that, like, the people in this room minus the guards, one of the guards shifts a little bit, like almost imperceptibly. But
What, you got something to say?
He doesn't respond. Straightens up again.
That's what I thought.
He looks a little sheepish, like he just got caught.
Ooh, drow magic.
Yeah. Continue.
So, yeah. Everyone in this room, excluding the guards, and I'm just going to assume that at some point, someone in this city is going to try to kill you or your compatriots, because, the That seems to be how you people do things.
It'll be most likely me or you, to be
No.
honest.
Oh, good.
So at least he can
Is
put
that
up
a
a fight.
challenge?
No,
With Othrix, what
they
is he
don't.
gonna do? Just
they don't
stand
like-
there and wag his tail?
They don't like him, and well, I have something they kind of want.
A seat at the table, right?
5 gold to whoever the first assassination attempt comes for.
All right.
I'm down.
Hallis, I do have some, due to my travels and various interactions, I do have some knowledge of higher class etiquette. I think I'd be very helpful in guiding us around the intricacies of society, as it were, avoiding the
That's not what
pitfalls.
I meant. I meant if someone snuck up behind you and grabbed your snoot, you would be pretty helpless.
Can I try to grab Othric's snoot from behind?
You can damn well try.
Go ahead and make me an attack roll. Josh can defend with
Just be a
make me a
dex.
dexterity save.
What kind of
Saving throw?
attack
Okay.
roll? Like with my pike, or?
No, you just roll a d20 and add whatever your proficiency bonus is at the moment. Just unarmed.
So strength plus proficiency.
I don't think it's gonna matter.
Yeah, no, you're way too, like, you have to physically put the pastry in your hand down first, and by that point in time, he knows what's up.
Yeah, but she's not a sneaky ass elf. Doesn't count.
I may
Oh, yeah, he just called you a sneaky ass.
I didn't call her a sneaky ass elf. I said that Via is not a sneaky ass elf. Neither is Athalia. She's not a sneaky ass elf either. I'm saying an elf who specializes in perhaps the rogue class.
in the sneaky ass class.
Mm-hmm.
In the class of sneaky ass.
Class of sneaky ass 91.
I'm sensing Hallis may have some racial bias.
Yep.
No, it's just not dumb.
Racist.
You're a different race.
If anything, he's classist. All right, he's classist against rogues. All right.
No, he's classist against the lithe people. Or he's racist against really lithe people who are good at dexterity.
Damn those,
Is
damn
that,
those
like,
ballerinas.
Abilityist?
Ow.
You know,
Yeah,
like
ability
wood
is-
elves.
Okay.
You're an ableist.
Oh my god.
I am
So-
an ableist, for sure.
Do you guys want a rundown of people that Athalia knows? What would you like to do moving forward in this time period?
What do I?
Yes, knowing important people that Athalia might know of, we can be like, that's that person. All right. Might
Yeah, I'm
be useful.
about to say a bear who walks into the trap, walks in knowing that there's a trap, will never be caught.
Okay. Well, Lexi, do you mind if I use Athalia for a bit of exposition?
No.
No, you don't mind?
No, I don't mind.
Okay.
It took me a minute to think about it. I was like,
Okay, so Athalia pulls you all to the center table as she starts to basically lay out the major players of the city. There's a series of 5 families. Hers was one of them.
you're not a princess.
The families themselves, their leaders all vote on any issue that comes in. Since there were 5 families, there was generally never ties. However, any family could put off a vote if they gave a good enough reason. Each family has kind of a specialty that they take care of. Thalia's family was considered the prophets, the seers. They had gifts for not prestidigitation.
Prophecy.
Thank you. And were very commonly asked for if they had any visions relating to major decisions or outings or things like that. They were very helpful, very well respected, and for a long time they were essentially like the leader family. Nobody really did things without their say.
The leader family, you say?
The way that the families themselves work, essentially, if Athalia would go into that kind of detail, is essentially there is a main bloodline of actual family, of siblings, and fathers and mothers and things like that. If any two people marry, if any two pure elves marry that are from the bloodlines, they essentially have to choose. The couple has to choose which family they officially go to, so they become part of that bloodline. The bloodlines themselves try and remain as pure as possible, with the exception of one of the families, which we'll get to in a moment. And they rule over essentially a lower nobility, who are either mixed breeds, races that have been brought in from the Feywild, and then they rule over a lower class of essentially underlings, who you saw on the bottom floor, essentially.
Rule over, you say?
No, you've triggered his communism sense.
Divine right
You're
of
not helping
kings,
my
you
case,
say.
Sarge, that I'm not
Sorry.
a prince.
Athalia's father and mother were essentially shared leaders of their clan, of their family, and the only reason was they rationed it out, rationalized it that if they were together, if their visions lined up, then it was the correct way to go, and they would both vote. The problem is that if they had opposing views, they would end up tying up a vote for years, trying to figure out what the hell it meant. So her family was kind of the overseers. You have the family Zenthria. I will share this with you in a moment. Headed by Elea. Elea is the high priestess of Ixros. The Zenthria family are essentially a divine family. They've been blessed by Ixrios, who is the god of art, music, romance, things of that nature. Bards, we'll just put it that way. They're a very musically inclined family. They're very close with their bardic natures. They essentially use their abilities to soothe the populace when things start getting too tense, make conversions into the city a bit more palatable, also protect and guard anybody that goes on excursions, things like that. Elea is a legendary hothead. She cannot keep her cool to save her life, almost literally. She's very whimsical, pretty much always in her own little world, either humming or singing or strumming. She's always got some sort of instrument in her hand, a quill, or she's around a lover, because Ixros is, again, the god of love. Very hardly actually leads, and if anything offends her in the slightest, she'll fly off the handle.
Great.
But she's also very quick to drop the same anger and go do something else. So if you can last the 5-10 minutes that she's gonna verbally lash you for, or possibly try and throw punches or magic.
Yeah, I'm about to say, if you can survive the spells, you're good.
Yeah, if you can survive that 5-10 minutes, you're fine. She'll completely work past it, drop it, go to the next thing.
God, I hate elves.
So that's Elea. You guys saw her, right? That popped up for you guys?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, she's
Yeah.
Okay. You have the Laeli family, who are the magicians. One second. The Laeli family are the most powerful magical family in Nythh Dorei. I'm sorry, Nythh Dorei. They are considered the navigators of the Feywild. Something that is completely different from Celestia is that the same place won't be in the same place in a day. Everything around them changes. And so it requires powerful magics in order to navigate to the same places, to pick up resources, to hunt. Also to protect whoever's there, because you can easily get there and just get lost, because the location will change and you'll never find your way back. As such, they have powerful locational magics. They're very good at combat spells. Essentially, they live and breathe magic. She herself, Nysyria is an explorer at heart. She's also the only family head that has earned her position. Everybody else got it by heredity. The Laelies, you have to have served a certain amount of time in an exploration and a scout role, and you have to prove yourself as a competent or master magician before you can take the role. And she has done both. Nysyria is easily one of the most powerful women in the city. Powerful people, just period. She has a very excitable heart for adventure and exploration. However, she doesn't want to be an administrator. She hates being the leader. She wants to go back out. But everybody prevents her from doing it. That's why she has she has the scouts under her. So she feels kind of trapped 9 times out of 10. You have the Valfears, who the redhead that you just saw was a part of. The Valfears are essentially the guard and the soldiers rolled into one. They're 2 different branches, but they're fiercely protective of the city that they're in. Whatever their commander asks them to do, they do. Thankfully, Alder, who is the current general commander, felt he got his position. Getting his position by heredity was unfair, and he does his absolute best to put himself on the same level or above his soldiers, as far as training, knowledge, things like that, so he can legitimately say that he is worthy to be their leader. He has a large heart for the people of the city, and will protect them at any cost. He's a quiet person, though. Just doesn't prefer to be in the company of other people if he can help it. He'd rather be on the ground, walking around, being a part of the community and helping them. He doesn't have a lot of patience for noble politics. But as soon as it goes off, as soon as they're attacked, as soon as they need to do something, he's a complete whirlwind of action. Very direct, very focused. He's a capable leader. He just doesn't have the faith in himself. He feels he didn't earn it. So he's always trying to live up to that. And then finally, we have Galenthal, who is... Athalia, you can guess that the Elikans became the ruling family after everything happened. They were pretty much the seconds in command the whole time. The biggest reason they're a family is because their entire bloodline has been bound to the forest itself. The largest elemental, they was rumored to reach out to the first elves in order to protect them. And they, through the generations, have turned into this family. So they essentially are like the first family. However, Galenthal himself is a very emotionless person. He rules efficiently. He gives his edicts efficiently. He very rarely shows any kind of emotion, including anger. It's just all very logical, maybe not logical arguments, but it's all very stoic. Unless you're talking about his garden, which is on the highest level, highest spire. In which case, you'll probably get a little smile out of him as he talks about the plant. And that's the wrap-up. That's the 5 families. And the major players.
Yay.
Any questions?
Through the entirety of that information that I'm assuming Athalia was giving this, Bia has been eating progressively more jerky. And trying to boop the snoot.
You do have a lot of pockets, too, by the way, Bia, so you could probably fit some.
Yes,
You-
but that would be rude.
You also understand the need for preservatives on long journeys.
Yeah, this jerky doesn't have preservatives, so I don't want pocket mush.
Is there any questions? You guys need me to go over anything again? Talk about it. I know this large type of information dump is not exactly ideal.
No, I've been taking notes.
Okay. You also have all the handouts on the right-hand side of the screen. I shared them with everybody, so if you need to go back over it or refresh the face, they're all there. You can open it. Pretty much anybody you guys have encountered so far that's a major NPC is there. Try and list some information on.
Oops, spellings. Yes.
I'm trying to remember which one was the one with the garden.
That is Galanthal, the Elikaean family, who are bound to the Forest Spirit.
Nice.
Bound to Forest Spirit. Okay.
I also put their official titles in the handout as well, which we'll cover later.
Cool.
Any questions for Athalia?
Who should we avoid?
Yes.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer.
Huh.
Is there...
You're not really going to have that luxury, but yes.
So what you're saying is I should talk to nobody and just avoid everyone. Got it? Obviously, the art of deception and stealth is my forte. As you can tell, it is what I do best, given my stature. This is gonna end well.
I'm surprised nobody's laughing.
I think their brains melted out their ears.
Yeah.
No, Othrix, like myself, is just finishing up with his notes. Well, I mean, I don't think stealth will be our best option. They know we're here. They can follow us at all times. They can keep an eye on us no matter what. I think it's best just to play the part and not attract more attention than necessary. And you see him kind of look over at Varys a little bit.
Varys, I do get this distinct feeling you and I are gonna have to cause trouble.
No, that's the exact opposite of what I was saying.
Which means more trouble, right?
No.
Right.
No. So, okay.
Chaos.
Okay, so how
Fired
about...
from the sky.
Never mind. Yes, cause trouble. Just cause as much trouble as you like.
Okay.
No. That was
Fuck
supposed to be-
yeah.
that was supposed to be reverse psychology.
Oh, well, you shouldn't have given us the option.
Don't you have to believe in a god to make that work?
Yeah.
No.
No. Is that part of that? What was it? Yogai thing you said the elves do?
No, yeah, it's elven tricks don't work on elves, friend.
No, or Goliaths. I
Just
don't think.
rubbing his forehead. Rubbing.
How's Athalia reacting to this?
I'm ignoring everybody and trying to make myself look mildly presentable and getting out my amulet.
Oh, so you're pulling out the amulet.
I'm gonna have to.
Okay.
I have to prove who I am.
So, that one?
Yeah.
So you guys notice in your squabbling that Athalia has been quietly preening, picking small invisible hairs off her stuff, making sure that the wrinkles are out of her traveling tunic, stuff like that. And very gently pulls out her necklace, which is a absolutely stunning, large tiered sapphire. I'm sorry, a sapphire in the shape of a tear that is wrapped around by silver filigree.
Is the scale doing anything?
It has
Doing
warmed.
something.
I mean, it wouldn't be doing anything else
Okay.
because otherwise it would have been warm the whole time
Got it.
that you.
Uh, has author seen anything like it before? Can he make any judgments on it?
What would you like to roll for that?
Okay, then. Let's do a history check.
That's a good one.
Have I ever sold anything like this? Like appraisal wise?
What would you like to roll for that?
Damn it. A +5 in that as well.
I don't know.
You can roll me a
I'd say like
it's either intelligence or wisdom from memory.
I'm guessing wisdom.
Okay. So
I was trying to figure out if it was a specific wisdom skill, but I can't think of any. So
there's
no.
no real like memory skill, unfortunately.
I was thinking like appraisal. I was like, what's the equivalent of appraisal?
There used to be an appraisal skill. And like,
yeah, it was one of the useless fucking skills on that list.
Yeah, it's
except in times like this.
I use that, and I use that hard, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Knowledge religion, perhaps?
You can try. It's going to be a disadvantage, though.
Nah.
Okay. House, would you like to try anything?
About the necklace? No.
Okay.
Doesn't care.
I don't care about
Okay.
necklaces.
Bia, you don't recall having ever transported any type of jewelry that was quite on that level. You've smuggled sapphires before, certainly, and other gemstones, but this is almost unnaturally clear. If it wasn't for the cuts being so visible, it would look like a drop of water, like out of the most pure lake that you could imagine. Othric, same with you. You don't remember ever coming across anything like this, even in writings. It's the quality of the craftsmanship is completely unmatched. There's nothing that you could ever unearth that would equal something of that type of clarity.
You see him salivating a little bit.
That looks expensive.
Possibly, if you could put a price on it.
No, it's worthless. As in, no amount of worth could equal it.
Looking at you right now.
Oh, that killed me.
Congrats, Gary. Broken DM.
Oh my god. If you don't have inspiration for that, go ahead and take one.
Damn it. Don't reward him.
Oh, it's a fantastic fucking pun. I love it.
Lord.
Didn't even expect it to be that funny. Jeez.
Oh my god. I don't know why it was so funny to me, but it hit that funny bone in just the right spot.
You shoved me down saying don't play the ferryman. Jesus.
Yes, because it wasn't inventive, Josh. So around this point in time, as you guys are, trying to analyze or see this this sigil, you hear the approach of two people. The first being Patrif, who you would recognize from your encounter on the docks in Stromness.
The tracks of land, women. We meet again.
Yes.
It's the chick with back problems again.
And what's up?
So yeah, do you think she has the posture color on?
The posture color. So as she approaches, directly behind her is one of the people Athalia was talking about. Whether or not she introduces you is a different subject, but as they both approach, the very stern-looking man seems to be dressed in kind of the same getup as his soldiers. There's a very long tunic with black and red in the front, a copper breastplate that seems to just. I wish there was a word for like anti-shimmer. Like it's very not dull, but matte. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a very matte copper. It almost seems to reject any type of reflection. And kind of
light.
yeah. And a very, very fancy coat that's been adorned with different leather. Looks, again, very high quality. And then Patrif is wearing a very nice dress. Her hair has been pulled back, and she smiles warmly as she approaches. The stern man doesn't seem to be offended at you guys. It seems like he just has resting bitch face. But he nods in your general direction as he approaches. Patrif works her way around to give Athalia a hug, if that's something that she would do. Okay.
She is one of my favorite cousins.
Don't suffocate.
So she wraps you in a big hug. Again, warm smiles all around, and she's like, "I am so happy that you came back. It has been a nightmare trying to keep this family in order. Let me tell you."
Wait, so you're the one in charge now?
Yes, Patrif, as the head in. What is my official title, Aldur? And Alador looks over at her and kind of rolls his eyes. Head of family in exile, I think, is the appropriate noble term, but don't quote me on that. He seems to look over everybody. His eyes are sparkling as though he would wants to interact with everybody, but his face kind of gets a little tense. It's almost like he doesn't know where to start. His eyes settle on Varys for a little bit. And again, not in distaste, but curiosity as he kind of looks over everybody and then finally over to Thalia and says, "This is quite the entourage you've collected."
I happened to come along with on one of their adventures, and we liked each other, so...
Can you vouch for this one? And he nods his head toward Varys.
As long as he stops calling me a stupid princess, yeah.
But you're not royalty.
Exactly.
He kind of shakes his head a little bit as though it's like a joke that he just doesn't get before he looks over at Patrif. Kind of sidelong explaining, your cousin here has been managing your family's affairs since it happened, since you left. We have taken you in. Valfir has been giving your family solace and a place to continue their affairs while you were gone. If you so wish, you can step back into the leader role, especially with your sigil of your family. And it gives you the natural right to do so.
I'm mostly here to solve why or who orchestrated the whole thing, because I don't believe it was an accident in any way.
Yes, people don't tend to fall on their swords 9 times.
I thought it was a fire.
He ran into my knife. He ran into my knife.
I thought it was a fire, which is...
You're correct. My apologies. My head got mixed up on that.
You're thinking of Cell Block Tango.
That's my story's that's my character's backstory.
Wait,
He
really?
had it coming. He had it coming.
Wait, really?
Oh,
Is that your
no.
character's backstory, Josh? Oh.
You don't know.
You never asked.
I'm hard. I could have killed people.
I mean, Nothix probably did kill people, not gonna lie.
Yeah, I mean, he is a grave robber.
They're,
I'm sorry, tomb excavator.
they're dead. At worst, I just made them fully dead.
tomb reclamation specialist.
There
Like
you go.
Via is a ship reclamation specialist.
Diplomatic immunity.
Olador kind of tilts his head for a moment. Yes, I was afraid that this wouldn't be a permanent solution. That being said, you're still welcome. This is your family. This is your affairs. Valfir will take care of your family as long as it's needed. You're always welcome. If
Yay.
I can provide any assistance, let me know. It has obviously been 150 very long years since the incident happened, but I'm not sure why you came back or what pushed it, but I am glad you've returned.
Well, for some reason, solving this little mystery might help us figure out some other issues we've run into outside of the Feywild. So, we
He
just
kind of, both him and Petrif seem to squint their eyes a little bit.
I don't know how.
Hmm.
Some random guy in the woods was like, hey, go figure this out. It might help you solve this problem. So I'm gonna go figure it out.
Do you
Been
remember his
150.
exact words?
Nope. Josh?
Hang on.
Oh boy.
I got notes.
Politics.
I got notes. Okay, Althrix.
By all means,
Balance,
please enlighten us, Josh.
Oakenhan. To resolve familiar problems, it can be the hardest of the hardest of challenges.
Yeah, we have to prove ourselves worthy to
Yes.
kill him, and he said that this
Oh,
would be
yeah.
an adequate challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll just relay that information.
Okay, so I would like to point out that he didn't exactly say solving the mystery of your family's murder.
Right,
Solving
but still.
familiar problems.
Oh, yeah,
They don't need to know that.
Yeah, they don't need to know that exactly.
Got it.
I could absolutely see Athalia going, no, this is what we're doing. So they, Petrif kind of looks sidelong at Aladir, who he isn't staring in, like, at you. He's kind of staring through you, like he's trying to interpret the words. Before finally sort of nodding and then shaking his head. No, I have nothing. Sorry, I apologize.
And
Well, I will keep my guards on the ready. I'm, at least for our families, your family and mine, I can speak that you will be safe. But you know how the families interact sometimes. I can't guarantee any safety outside of our family. I can investigate anything that happens. I can try and head off anything that I am aware of, and I will make sure my city guards are aware to be on the lookout for anything. But politics is politics.
Right.
we are also trying to avoid any diplomatic. I'm kind of leaning down to Athalia, and we are also trying to avoid any diplomatic incidents between the city and the outside world. That may.
It wouldn't really
imply-
be between the city and the outside world. It would be an inter-family conflict.
out of character.
I was gonna say,
I was under the
Vote.
assumption that if shit goes
They
south,
wanna
start
invade.
invading.
Oh,
Oh.
yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because right now, so to recap, the central conflict with the families, there's a vote of 5 leaders. Whoever has the sigil is allowed a vote. In this particular case, when Athalia's family was murdered, or the building set on fire, or what have you, foul play occurred.
Divine judgment.
She was given the sigil and told to run. The reason being is for the previous 50 years, her family, her father and her mother had been putting off a vote on whether or not to stay in the Feywild and try and make the best of the situation and open up the royal bloodlines to the lower classes to repopulate and go reclaim the cities that they've lost, or to move into Celestia by force. take over some land, hold it off. That way they could spread and claim more resources, as well as basically gather, I don't want to say more slaves, but more slaves.
Slave friends.
Yeah.
Employed prisoners. No, prisoners with
Yeah.
jobs. There we go.
There you go. So there's two families for
prisoners with responsibility, because jobs implies pay.
No, not necessarily.
It's prisoners with responsibilities.
What did
Occupied
Prisoners with jobs is
territories.
a quote from
Thor Ragnarok?
yeah.
Yeah, he
Oh,
didn't.
that's it. Yeah.
He didn't like the
Okay.
word slaves. Jeff Wood.
So currently there's two families that are for invasion, and there's two families for repopulation. And the vote's been tied for the 150 years that Athalia's been gone. No family has wanted to change. Patrif finally found Athalia and told her that one of the families may be changing their vote.
So which two want which two things?
Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah.
let me bring this up real quick.
I want charts.
So
That's diagram.
Zenthria, family Zenthria, who are the Ixros worshippers, the Bardic clan, they are in favor of repopulation, them staying here and opening up the bloodline. They are powerful believers in that love should not be contained or restricted by society.
They're the hippies.
Essentially, they are very, their nobility still stays within the lines of propriety, at least in public. There's suspicions, but nobody's been able to confirm anything.
Buggers.
But they very much are we need to, in order to continue being elves, we need to open up to other species. Like, we have to integrate. Lily is the explorers and the magicians. They are for invasion. They're for invasion not because they want to oppress anybody, but because it will open up more places for exploration. But it will also give them a stable foundation where the map isn't constantly changing. It will allow for a more prosperous and long-lived elven life if they don't have to continue risking them for to the Feywild. Valfir, the defenders, and the soldiers, they're in favor of repopulation. Surprisingly. Their reasoning is that they're all citizens. Everybody is a citizen of this city. Everybody is an elfin citizen. And nobody should be separated or segregated or believed lesser than anybody else. They're very honor bound.
Satyr.
Even then, they like.
I was making a joke.
Oh, sorry.
So much buggery.
So Valfir would be for repopulation. Elikayan is surprisingly in favor of invasion as the heralds of the forest spirit. They believe that the forest has naturally reclaimed the other three cities, and it wants this one. That their presence in this forest is basically an accostation of nature here. So they want to invade to get out of the wild face so that they're no longer encroaching on the natural forest, as it were.
Just going to encroach on another forest. Right. Well, all right.
I don't know where they're getting that idea. Might not be because of, all of the weird corrupt statues in that one place.
So you do know that Nythh Dorei, Athalia would have told you this, that Nythh Dorei is the last elven city in the Wild Fae. Each family had their own city at one point. This is Elikayan's city originally. This is the oldest city. Every other one has been reclaimed by nature. It's essentially inhospitable due to whatever happened in each of the cities, and each of the families had to retreat. Elakayan took them in and housed them. As such, the city is really fucking crowded. There's a lot of people trying to fit in one city here, and everybody's bumping shoulders and getting aggravated.
Got it. Okay, so yeah, so back to that. And also leaning down to Athalia, and also solve any tension between the city and the island.
Yeah. Yeah, okay.
Fine, I guess we'll stop an invasion.
Okay. Sarge,
Yes.
it's been 2 hours of exposition almost. Can
Yep.
we take a quick break?
Absolutely. I apologize. I tried to make it as natural as possible.
No, it's okay. It's just, it's a lot
lot.
of information, and my brain is like kind of tired for a
No
minute.
worries. Everybody, let's take 10, 15, go get some drink, relax, let your brain kind of cool off. And we'll be back for more ashes.
To
Just-
ashes. To
'Kay.
ashes.
Dust.
I'll be back.
To dust.
Ashes to ashes, funk to funk to... Alright, I'll be right back.
Okay.
I've literally just been listening to tango music this whole time and trying to remind myself constantly that I'm on push to talk. Hey, Sarge.
Yes.
Hashtag be a muscle study.
Holy crap. She is not tanked, stacked. That's the word I'm looking for.
What do you mean stacked?
She's very muscular.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Yes,
she's...
stacked is common parlance for buff.
Yes. Around here, I've heard it used other ways, and I was like, I didn't think I drew him that big.
it traditionally means like it's like buff, then stacked, then swole, something along those lines. I just use it normally for that's a muscular person.
Yeah, around here, she's stacked, meaning the boobs. Don't know how those differences evolved, but
Hold on.
like...
I have to throw this in shit posting. This is great.
Mm-hmm. Let's look at shit posting. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, I fucking love that meme. Let me in! Let me in!
But yeah, I mean, you have to admit, Bia would probably be buff. Between the physicality of a Goliath and also just the work she's done.
Yeah. But it'd all be like natural muscle too. It wouldn't be like super, swollen and defined. It'd just be really dense fucking strands of fiber.
Yeah, she's not a bodybuilder. The muscles all follow like natural musculature. They look more than they are, but that's just because there's thick outlines to each one.
Right. Yeah, it just stands out because it's a study.
Got it. All right.
Oh, it is warm in my house.
I imagine.
I didn't dump all that on you guys too hard, did I?
I couldn't tell you a single thing that you told us.
I have
I'm
notes.
sorry.
I have so many notes.
I did not take notes because I was drawing Bia, and because I can't write notes and as quickly as it was coming.
Okay.
But
All right, I could expel everything you said back at you if you wanted me to.
I can get the gist of it.
The Elven City has politics. Beyond that, I have to be honest, I don't give a shit.
I think that's more why you don't remember, because you don't care.
You are so in character right now.
Well, I'm sorry, but after the first 30 minutes, it's not exposition, it's story. It's a story, and at that point, I'm gonna tune out.
To be fair, this is like this is my class every night.
Yeah, you see, that's my thing is I do this kind of stuff for work, so it's not fun to do for a game.
I enjoyed it. We've got background now. We needed information. We've got the information.
Yeah, we have enough that we can move forward. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And we know which families are for and against invasion. We have a general gist of what each family is about and what each head of the families are about. And yeah.
I have more questions, but most of the questions I have are more of the show rather sort. Learn by doing. Like, namely, how much chaos I can cause before we get kicked out.
I'd like to at least learn some things before we get shoved into a prison cell.
How about this? I will get to prison first, and when you arrive, I'll make sure the bunk is warm.
I like how you guys are telling Bia and Varys not to cause problems, and just don't even bother telling Hallish not to cause problems.
You're a mercenary, Hallis. You know when to keep on the business face.
Mm-hmm.
B, it's because you're human, so it's assumed that you're somehow less of a troublemaker, because Authors is secretly racist against humans.
I've traveled with him before.
It's
I knew
biased.
him more than you. I knew him more than you or anybody else in this party. I trust him more
Yeah,
than
it's still
all of you.
biased. Well, I trust Varys to end up in a cell next to me.
Now, to be fair,
good
depending on what
story.
I see, that may affect who gets arrested first.
I mean, the fact that they're willing to invade our world to take slaves, I already don't like them, so... Bia no likey the slavery. There might be some, depending on the employment status of the satyr, there might be some, Hey, Varys, want to have a glorious communist revolution with
They
me?
could just be servants.
Yeah.
They get paid. They take care of the joint.
They might get paid. If they don't get paid, glorious commie revolution.
Oh
Seize the means of production and give them back to the Feywild.
my god, the entire 19th century was a mistake.
Josh, did I send you what I've been working on?
You sent it to me last night to cheer me up.
No, this. During game.
Oh.
I'm doing a muscle study of Bia.
I'm completely okay with this.
Mm-hmm. So now we have Bia's back and Bia's front.
Dead abs.
She can lift that abs. Because I'll never have abs like that in real life.
Well, neither will I.
I live vicariously. Bia's reclaiming my childhood joy because when I was a child, I wanted to grow to be 6 foot tall and seriously ripped. That's all I wanted in life. Was to be really, really tall. And then I hit middle school and I felt like I was too tall and I wanted to be really, really short. And now I'm in college and I'm like,
See,
I'm okay with my height.
I was a very small child. As hard as that is to imagine. And even like before you met me, Sarge, I was even much shorter to the average because I didn't have the new pacer put in. So there was kind of like this belief among my friends, and I kind of internalized it that like since I was so small, when I grow up, I'll be the tallest of everyone. Yeah.
No.
They said that about my first boyfriend. I saw him. He's still short. He still looks like Gollum. I dated Gollum for a bit.
I was always tall as a child.
Same though.
Yeah, but you're a freak.
I grew, and then my spine rebelled against me growing.
How dare it?
My arms and legs were the ones that were like, ah! And then my torso caught up.
You became Gorg Bag.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. I'm debating if I want to pour myself more mixed drink or if I want to
I've got more
wait.
beer.
Yeah, but I still have 500 milliliters left of it, approximately.
But I can't drink because I have to go to work in 45 minutes.
Oh no.
I will be going to the gym after this, so by the time we're done with this, I will have sobered up enough.
I worked out yesterday, so I don't have to today, and I'm happy for that fact.
No, I did it Thursday, didn't do it Friday, so I gotta do it today.
I'm drinking after this.
Good on you.
I've got booze for today, and I've got booze for tomorrow.
Got booze for
I'm not
days.
drinking tomorrow because tomorrow's amateur hour.
Yep.
Yes.
I might be drinking a little bit tomorrow.
Yeah, right now. Alright, just let me finish this up.
I've got to help. I have to get to church early to run the booth. And I have to help move some furniture. And then probably study a little bit more for the GRE. And then run the game. And then maybe study a little bit more and then go to bed.
Mm-hmm.
It's gonna be social hour at the house, and then tomorrow I'm gonna just murder anything of a regular sleep schedule I had.
Mm. There's a part of me that doesn't want to put clothes on this drawing.
It's good enough for the painters of the past to not put clothes on any of their paintings ever.
Yeah, but I was
Michelangelo,
originally...
yeah, sure, I'll paint your whole ceiling. Won't paint a whole bunch of dude with their dicks out, though.
Yeah.
What did you say? Nothing.
Fun
Nothing.
fact about that, they got him on reverse psychology. Originally, he was too good to do the Sistine Chapel. Then they were like, okay, well, I guess you're not good enough to do it, so we'll find someone else. And he's like, fuck you, I'm gonna do it.
But I'm gonna draw
Say that to my
dicks.
face.
Everywhere. And then he put a big FU in it, possibly because there's some belief that possibly God and the Angels is a giant brain.
I've seen that. Not
I can
sure.
believe it.
I can believe it, but it's a theory. I doubt we'll ever be able to prove it one way or another. It's an interesting theory. I think
We won't be able to prove it one way or another, but it's definitely, if I was an artist, I'd do a fuck you like that. Oh wait, I am an artist. I
was
wouldn't do
about
a
to
fuck
say,
you like
mean
that.
like putting skulls and everything that you've
I was
drawn?
gonna say, you do everything via spite. Spite is your primary motivator of all things.
Literally, I had this gallery director ask me what was my inspiration behind my piece, and I said spite, and she cried.
of laughter.
She clutched her pearls and like gasped. It was hilarious. This is art people though, they're over dramatic. She's like, "Oh, don't tell me that."
But
Oh my god.
I didn't care though. She hadn't even seen my work yet. She just saw my sticker that denoted me as an artist in the gallery show.
Ah.
If it was standing in front of my work and she was actually interested or impressed with it, I would have gone further, but it's okay. I still walked away with like 2 recommendations from her.
Nice.
dang.
Mhm. The Lakeland Gallery, Mary, who's the director of the Lakeland Gallery, she's really big in the Ohio art scene, so I try to make good friends with her because pretty much if Mary likes you, you're in. When it comes to Ohio.
Very nice.
John,
Yeah.
What?
I'm hungry.
What do you want for food?
Your soul.
Ha!
You have to have
You're
one.
gonna starve.
Yeah.
He sold that a long time ago.
To Lexi.
No.
Hmm.
The altar of Shadowrun.
To the devil so he could understand how to play Shadowrun.
Not that either.
I think he knows. He's the devil.
To Man in the Cross. Oh, yeah.
He knows all
Listen.
things meant to torture and torment man.
To have a soul, you had to have been born, not spawned.
Oh, true. I was born. I know that because I'm the evil twin. But so is my sister. It's a bit of a weird technicality. I think there was a mix-up.
I was ripped.
There's always a mix-up.
I was not by a woman born. I was ripped untimely from my mother's womb, so I fit the prophecy. Screw you, Macbeth.
Why are we screwing Macbeth?
Because of like the witch's prophecy, how he wouldn't be killed, like no man of a woman born could kill him, except Macduff was ripped untimely from his mother's womb, in brutal C-section, so he technically wasn't born. Ergo, he could kill Macbeth. The witches were dicks. Like all their prophecies are like, yeah, until like Durham Wood marches on the castle, until what is it, Brenham Wood or something, marches on the castle, and you will not die. Well, basically, the enemy troops like took branches from the forest and marched up in like camouflage, so it looked like the forest was marching on the castle. Yeah, like all the prophecies were essentially like twisted, and the witches are dicks.
Pretty much all those
What?
prophecies stood was to give overconfidence to the people they gave them to.
Yeah, basically.
A witch be a bitch in
Hey, no,
in a Shakespearean story?
I mean, yeah.
No.
they're
Perish
not
the
bitches.
thought.
In Elizabethan.
They're giving the people the confidence they need to be megalomaniacs and succeed in life. They're giving confidence.
I mean, there's whole thesis papers written on like the witch's prophecy and like how much it influenced Macbeth and yada yada yada.
Mm-hmm.
I've read many of them. Don't be like me.
I want to be just like you when I grow up, Josh.
be learn from Josh, kids. Don't do grad school.
I have to. For my degree. But my grad school will be full of math.
Hey, stop doing that.
No, I will keep doing grad school. You can't stop me.
You keep doing grad school. Make my cat stop scratching at the bed.
No, that's what cats do. They be
No.
dicks.
Yeah.
Okay. Everybody back?
No.
No.
Yes.
Nope.
Where am I?
Well, you guys better get back soon then. We got a game to play.
The crack in your voice made it seem like you miss us.
Better get back here. Get back here, please.
I'm lonely.
Hey, Sarge.
So much. Yeah.
What are you doing Tuesday?
Nothing that I know of.
I'm out of work at 2. You
Okay.
wanna help me you wanna come over and help me pop in a new motherboard?
Yeah, you can do that.
Because I suck at processor application, and it's not a bundle as in it's coming all pre-handled. It's
Oh,
a
Jesus.
bundle as in have fun.
Okay. I got some thermal paste here too. I don't know if they send it with the processor.
They do not. They wanted because I guess Newegg is having a fucking shortage. They wanted $20 for some.
Jesus.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean it's Arctic silver, but still, it's like that's a wee bit steep there, Newegg.
Yeah. I got some.
All right, cool.
I can do that. Let me put it on my calendar real quick.
Favorite part of
Alright.
getting new things is putting it together.
I'm still looking forward to having DDR4 RAM and a fucking new processor.
Yeah. be pretty nice.
All right. Okay, so with all these revelations, the conversation takes probably about 10, 15 minutes. And as you are talking with Triff and Alador, two people are walking up the stairs. There's a very tall, gaunt, thin man with sharp features, covered in a large green furred cowl, who seems to almost stalk along and looks down at his nose at everybody. But it's not. If it comes off condescending, it's only because he's around 6'10", 6'11", and just towers over everybody else.
Except me and
Except you.
Othrix.
and Othrix.
Yeah, you two, like, this is the closest anybody has ever gotten besides you two.
He's eye level with me.
Yeah, he's eye level with you, which is surprising.
I'm
You're not used
taller
to that.
than him.
And a hooded figure, with the symbol of Ixros hanging around her neck. And as they approach, Alador kind of looks over his shoulder, and his face stiffens. He moves back, so does Patriff. Patriff takes, her face entirely drops, her smile, her warmth, everything, and she immediately looks down at the floor in a very subservient position as the two figures walk up. And Alador bows real quick and motions towards your group. Galanthal, Lord, this is the Thalia's entourage as she returns. Blessings to you, Ilrin. Sorry, not Ilrin. Elia. Blessings be to you, Elia, as the High Priestess. I told you that they would be here. I didn't expect you so soon. And the large man kind of waves his hand and looks at everybody. So you are Athalia's entourage.
That's what they told us.
Othrix gives a bow.
Sup?
He looks at Athalia. I expected you to keep better company.
The floof bristles a little bit.
Bia crosses her arms slightly.
I've never had better company.
I'm sure your parents would say differently. But nonetheless.
Okay, pal.
Looks over everybody. Well, as much as it is a strange occurrence, the family is still prevalent within this city, and we must respect that. So we'll be throwing a gala tonight in honor of Athalia's return. I hope that you all can attend. And kind of looks Hallis up and down for a moment. Have better accoutrements than Betriff. She stiffens up real quick. See to it that they're dressed appropriately. She nods super quickly and looks over to Thalia. The woman in the robe seems to smirk a little bit before placing her hand on Galanthal's shoulder. Galanthal, please, you must be a bit more hospitable to our guests.
Never known an elf to be hospitable.
Well, hopefully we can change that. I am Ilya, the High Priestess. I apologize for the gruff treatment of our leader here. We should be able to provide you with what you need to dress appropriately for the gala. Have you been to any events like this before?
Does
I'm gonna
a
let you-
wake count?
I'm going to let you think about that one real carefully for a minute.
I have a feeling I don't need to, but I felt asking anyway.
Yes, I have back in a few times. I've been able to partake in the higher society events. Yes.
Oh, good. They're letting you types into the higher class in Celestia. Interesting to note. I'm glad you brought that up. Athalia, you do have interesting friends. This ball is certain to be a blast this time. She kind of gives a smile that seems a bit too warm, kind of bordering on way too wide, before tapping Galanthal on the shoulder and turning away. You must forgive us. We have much to prepare for this feast, but please, make yourselves home. Our family is your family. And again, that too warm connotation as she turns around and walks away. Galanthal looks between all of you, and I would say scowl, but he's been scowling the whole time. But it seems to deepen a little bit before he nods to Athalia and turns to walk away himself.
I remember why I didn't like high society that much now.
I remember why I stopped dealing with nobility now.
Oh, come on, it's not that bad.
All I did was insult you a few times.
Yeah.
You got lucky.
I mean, we're
That
not
one lady
dead.
was really nice in that one place.
Yeah, you're not dead, it's fine.
Oh,
We're
the
doing
barrier
dandy.
of entry. We're not dead.
Hey, where I come from, at least they just stab you. They don't insult you first.
They did stab you with words.
This isn't supposed to hurt as much, but it does.
Don't
Patrif-
cry out
And
loud.
Patrif looks like rightly reprimanded. Like somehow she had done something wrong during that whole exchange. And is still in that kind of submissive pose, like glancing up at Athalia every now and then. Aldair just kind of shakes his head and looks over at you guys. I apologize. Not everybody is as welcoming as we are.
Sure, noted.
You consider yourself welcoming.
Compared to that, I think you got a pretty damn warm welcome.
You don't get out much, do you?
He's like a 5. They're like a 2.
Yeah. He kind of motions to the forest for a moment. And all you have to talk to is plants and animals. You tend to get a little insular.
I'd figure the animals got sick of you guys a while ago.
That would explain why the hunts are getting smaller. He kind of gives a small half smirk. Well, I will leave you to the preparations. I must get my own entourage in affairs now that a gala has been announced, which not sure why I wasn't informed of that one. But we will. I'll see you tonight. Let me know if there's anything I can do to help. Triff will be able to help you with anything that you need. Your estate still intact. It is rather vacant, though. Triff and some of the other minor handlers have been taking care of it while you've been gone. So,
Is this supposed to be a 1980s fixing stuff up montage?
not so much.
It's more of like going to the ruins of your burned out family home.
Yeah,
So, Skyfall.
yeah. So there's probably a set of servants' quarters still intact. Is most likely what he's talking about.
Woo!
But so it's not the large, massive mansion that it would be, or at least that you think. Athalia, you're pretty sure that they wouldn't have rebuilt it by now. It takes centuries to build a family's home.
And one
They
night
could
to
have started
destroy it.
rebuilding it.
Well, it's if they cared enough. That's the other part of it.
Well, they'd have to. They need another family because they need the amulet.
Not
That's true.
necessarily. Who knows?
Yep, they may not have found a way around it yet.
Well, should we go see your old family home? Should we? What? Okay, so question: what time is it? If there is, can we tell based upon the sun? Anything?
Probably mid-morning.
Mid-morning. Okay.
So like probably 10:30, something like that.
Okay. Well, should we get settled someplace and then we can decide where to go from there?
Let's just stay with Patrif. If that's
Patrif.
okay.
Patrif nods excitedly. Yes, of course. It'll be a pleasure to have more people inside the estate. Everybody's treated it like a ghost town since you've left.
Gee, wonder why.
Maybe all the ghosts.
Other ghosts?
Patriff kind of raises an eyebrow. Not that I'm aware of.
Kind of a little crestfallen.
It's
Maybe.
okay, Othrix. Elves can't see ghosts.
They'd be wraiths anyway. Is there elves?
Elves can't see ghosts.
I'm gonna say that, and then we're gonna actually encounter a ghost one of these days, and both Athalia and Varys will still be able to see that ghost.
And then there goes an entire wing of theology right there.
Yep, it will shatter Bia's world when any of these various things she believes in are disproven.
Bia,
Oh, you
make
mean
me
like the saltwater binky actually doesn't do anything? What?
That fucker's been blessed by a goddess. I am convinced it's not just a glow stick that comforts me.
You mean I don't have to wear these silly goggles whenever I look at horses?
It's only the horses that what's his nuts carries.
Vexation.
Vexation, yeah.
So, Patriff seems to kind of shake herself out of the unofficial reprimand and claps her hands in front of her and smiles warmly at you all again. It will be an absolute pleasure to serve you again, madam, and all of your friends as well. If you let's go. We'll get you all situated for the gala. And she starts from the time that you leave to the time that you arrive at the estate. She does not stop talking the whole time. She is chattering about everything. Athalia, this has not changed in the 150 years since you've been here. You distinctly remember her being like this beforehand.
Yeah.
Talking about the different states of the cousins, the families that have occurred, what they've done to the estate, the fact that it's under construction. They're kind of cautious about the carpenter. He seems to rush his work a little bit, so we're not sure if the quality is there. But you'll have to approve that, of course, once you see it. We have to call tailors. Tailors, that's right. We need a couple tailors to come in order to help with all of the cloth preparations. What do you think? Kind of cloth do you think you should wear? What type of color? Do we want to stick with the house colors, or do we want to go risque with it and go with a little bit of different, shake it up a bit? The whole way.
Yes, Athalia. What kind of cloth should you wear?
Hang on.
Oh god, is it gonna be a we?
Hang on.
Sort of a green color and a white.
Maddie, where is it?
Red and black.
Oh,
Go
did I
ugly.
send it to you on Facebook or Discord? I forget.
Feck, I don't remember. Let me go to Facebook and look it up.
Oh boy.
I'll check the Discord.
Oh no.
You do.
She sent me some pictures.
It's the Facebook.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to look it up on my phone because my computer isn't loading.
Just thinking of that scene from
I'll-
A Knight's Tale when he asks what color his tunic's going to be, saying all of the colors and stuff from the tent behind her.
Yes. Oh, I forgot about that.
Ooh, yes, this. Okay. How do I send this to Sarge?
Let's just throw it in the chat.
You can just copy and paste the link into Ash's or something.
That does. If it's Facebook, that doesn't always work. You might have to download the image and then upload it into Discord.
Alright, let me just try that.
Proof.
Maddie, you do it.
Is it the first one or the second one you're looking for?
The first one was for you. I like the second one for me.
I'm not gonna lie. The first one, me IRL, probably not Bia.
Oh,
Hit me.
true.
Oh.
Okay. So you guys start walking toward more of the outskirts of the walls. Again, it's a little bit of an uphill climb. You go across catwalks upstairs,
Ooh, I
um,
changed my mind. First one.
and eventually reach a rather large platform that oversees one of the hills of the valleys. And it's a gorgeous, absolutely amazing view as the trees run up into the fog that surrounds the valley. Small rivers and a waterfall can be seen from the position. And it was clear that a very large structure was here at one point. There's some bare bones skeleton work outlining essentially a massive multi-story mansion. And each crossbeam is the same quality that you saw from the gazebo. Very carefully crafted. There's no visible gaps. It looks immaculate. They're very clearly taking their time with it.
Fantastic, absolutely fantastic.
Lexi, they're actually a bit farther ahead than you thought they'd be after 150 years.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whoever's doing it, you absolutely would probably agree with Triff that maybe this guy may be rushing things.
Huh.
Uh-huh.
But there's another 3-story building off to the right, down a few more catwalks, that seems to Triff kind of lights up when she gets closer to it. That is the servants' quarters. It is a fantastic small pagoda, almost Japanese style pagoda, where the bottom floor is larger than the second, which is larger than the third, with kind of flowing rafters and a roof that slopes outward.
Okay.
And as you approach, you notice how, as soon as the door opens, it echoes. There's almost like nothing in there. Very, very few items were saved from the fire. And it just feels like there's nobody here at all. There's no space being taken up.
Gotcha.
You walk in, and there's a giant spiral staircase that goes up basically the center of the lobby to the 3 floors. Spreads out in a section of 4 catwalks as you go up. You see a few pictures of your parents, a few different paintings that you've had commissioned over the years, or that they had passed down. A few different like pieces of armor, or swords, like classic what you would think you decorate a large space with, but that you just start trying to fill it up. The problem is that when you see it, it's like not a newly moved into apartment. There's just not enough stuff to make it not feel empty.
Gotcha.
Patriff, she walks in almost immediately, her shoes clacking off of the hardwood, and walks over to the mantle where a fire has been set into the fireplace. It's warm, but it's not super inviting. She claps her hands at all of you. Please make yourself at home. Lady Athalia, I can have the master bedroom opened up again as soon as if you would like it. Everybody else, please. The guest rooms are on the 2nd floor. All of the accoutrements are down here. We have a very large kitchen area with a cook on staff, as well as a lead butler in case you need anything. The handmaiden should be around here somewhere. As soon as I find her, I'll let you know. But we need to get you prepared. So I would ask all of you to pick a room, find something, and get ready, because the tailors will be here soon. They're not used to such rushed time frames, but we need to get you set and make an entrance, if you will.
I don't think there's gonna be anything that's gonna fit me, I'm afraid. Or
That's why it's all being custom made.
Oh god.
The tailors are for.
I'm used to them making adjustments in a day or two, not making a whole garment.
Well, and Maddie, I was thinking that the second one for you, just make it longer.
I actually have something an idea in mind. actually.
Okay.
I'm drawing it, so.
You said you're doing the first one, Lexi?
No, the second one. That was the one that I was talking to Maddie. That's the one she sent first.
Gotcha.
Just make it a little longer.
I can see that.
It matches your blue in your picture.
Mm-hmm.
I stock corset makers. And
All right, so
dresses.
what would you guys like to do? You have a little bit of time before the tailors show up. You don't really have anything but your packs, what you would carry with you normally. You can go up and take a rest if you would like. Try and get some a little bit of shut eye before the tailors get here. You can explore the servants' quarters, talk to people. What would you like to do? Talk with each other.
Would it be considered like a long rest? Essentially,
No. Long rest is 8 hours.
Damn it.
So if you want to sleep for 8 hours before the gala, you can do that, but you're going to take penalties of some shape or
That's fine then.
Your outfit's gonna be shit.
We did not do the measurements right. We did not. We had to guess. Do you know what kind of strain this puts upon us?
You have a tail?
Athalia,
What?
can you make me an insight check, please?
Insight.
Possibly. Where would I? Oh, there. I found it.
Excellent. You've known Patrif a long time.
Yeah.
I
I don't know how I did that, but
don't know how you did that either.
it was just stuck to my mouse.
What the hell?
That's great.
Yeah, I don't know how that happened. It was weird.
She has gotten nervous. She started fidgeting with her hands.
Stop it.
The smile has lasted way too long on her face. It's still warm, still inviting. Nothing seems off if anybody else would take a look, but you've known her long enough to know that something's itching at her.
I'll ask her what's going on.
She kind of like works her hands like she can't quite find the words as she looks to everybody else. Do they know how to do this?
Probably not.
Okay.
If you are discussing the intricacies and the manners of court, I'm acquainted with them. Yes.
Yeah. For humans.
I mean, if you're
No,
super
for
worried, I can just
dragonborn.
feign illness.
So she kind of steps up to you, looking up at you for a moment. She's got a finger to her lip, tapping it slightly on her chin. Do you know the steps to the Dorei walk?
I don't know. Do I know the steps? Should I roll for this?
No. You can try. Maybe you've met an elf. Go ahead and roll it.
What kind of check would this even be? Would this be a
Uh,
wisdom,
History?
intelligence, history, survival?
let's say wisdom. Straight wisdom check. Yeah, survival.
It's not bad. Not good. Not bad.
Doesn't even beat a hard check.
Yeah, probably.
15's hard.
You need to beat a 30.
I mean, 30 is near impossible, is the
Uh-huh.
Exactly.
Oh, hello.
I'm gonna assume no then.
Hello.
No.
Okay.
Actually, the whole word itself, like the whole phrase, draws a complete blank in your mind.
It's like you see within his eyes, Dragonborn function, unable to load, abort, reboot.
That's what I thought. Do you know which knife and fork set to use when served venison as opposed to pork?
I know the Dragonborn.
What about
to
if there's
that.
gravy on top? And do you use your own spoon when serving gravy, or do you pour it out of the tray?
I mean, usually you pour it out of the tray because you do not want to.
Usually, huh? You sure you want to risk Athalia's reputation on that?
I will.
You pour the gravy from the tray into your open mouth and then take a shot of whiskey.
You just see Patriff's face like freeze, like in the. I'm sorry. What did you say?
Hey, Sarge.
Yes.
How much of these customs are the same in the world of the Drow, barring the whips and the hedonism and the branding?
You're not sure. You've never encountered an elf in order to be able to compare. Maybe you guys can find somebody in the servant's house to help you with those things.
I may as well not make a complete ass of myself in front of these people. I'll stalk off that way.
She, Patriff, like, claps her hands in front of her face in that thank you kind of motion. She is very worried about Athalia's and her family's name.
I'm guessing I can't just feign being foreign and exotic and shit and get away with it.
Unfortunately.
Honestly, I feel like she could, because I'm not coming back to stay.
Right. You would know that there is a certain level of acceptance, but it is up to you as the host of your entourage to have informed them of how to do it. So anything that they would do wrong doesn't reflect badly on them, but it reflects badly on you.
Yeah, Lex, you got to tell us what to do.
I mean, it is assumed that you have gathered them. So far, you know that the running assumption is going to be they are not your party. You are not equal with them. You have gathered them. They are following you.
Gotcha.
Just because for them, for nobility, there's really no other way to approach it, at least mentally for them.
Gotcha.
They couldn't handle the thought of being equal with someone else.
To a drow, of all things.
Oh, yes, of all things.
So, yeah, so this isn't, it's not so much that there isn't a level of impropriety expected. There is a wide berth allowed for lack of knowledge of customs. But they expect you to at least have given them the basics. And unfortunately, there is a lot to cover.
This is why elves don't make friends outside of their own.
We are playing, guys, just so you know, we are playing till 6 o'clock tonight.
That's fine.
Is that okay with everybody?
Yep.
Okay.
Except for me, who's leaving in 8 minutes.
8 minutes, yeah.
Oh, shoot.
That's all right. We might end a little early because I don't want to go full scale into the ball because that is going to be a long encounter in and of itself.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, Garrett, while we're here, while you are here, is there anything that Hallis would like to do while he's here? You can try and seek out information, try and find some sort of training in the things that you don't understand, and I can get with you separately on your get up as well.
All I know is he's not dancing. Outside of dance, he'll try anything else.
He doesn't know dancing?
That he'll try to learn anything outside of dancing.
Outside of dancing. Okay. So, Lexi.
Yeah.
There's, to any gala, to any party that's thrown in the nobility, there's generally about 3 different things that have etiquette to them.
Mm-hmm.
One is dancing. If you don't know the steps correctly, you can embarrass your patron. If you dance to the wrong music, that's also can bring shame. Just a couple of small things like that. How to hold people's hands, how to pick a partner. There's a lot of ins and outs of who to select. You could piss off somebody greatly by not selecting them as a partner instead of somebody else, depending on certain etiquette circumstances.
Is there etiquette to rejecting somebody?
Yep.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. So your Patriff would know a lot about that. Has always been a fan of the dancing in any of the noble balls, to the point where she can weave in and out of that particular social situation like a fish in water. The second part is dinner. Dinner has its own set of rules. What type of forks, what type of silverware you are or not allowed to use. Even certain things have to be eaten before other things in order to continue to be considered riotous. You can insult the chef by not doing it correctly. You can insult the people around you. You think they're a pig if you eat too quickly. Again, multiple layers of rules. Your cook, you were lucky enough beforehand to have secured somebody who has cooked for those types of galas before. So if anybody would be interested in learning about that, they could talk to your cook.
Okay.
And finally, there is let me get the other thing. And finally, there's the butler. There is art to conversation at a gala. What topics to approach, how to approach somebody, when is the appropriate length of time to wait after a conversation is ended. Different types of signals across the floor to indicate, hey, by the way, I want to get your attention. But it's kind of like the quarter on the arcade machine, like, hey, I'm next kind of thing. So there's multiple different types of rules simply for conversation. Your butler trained you on how to do that. The butler of your estate. So he would be a good person to talk to. Now, considering the levels and complexities of these things, everybody can go to one of these people. You have enough time to train in one thing.
Great.
Oh no.
Obviously, going to the chef. Dinner's the only thing I'd care not to fuck up.
Yeah, I think Othrix would have at least a good idea about like dancing etiquette type thing. Somewhat. I think it might be just eating and everything, since it's a completely different culture. He would need help with that too.
Guessing the Goliath background of having to learn rituals in the form of dancing and meals, I'd probably Bia would go to one of those two, just since it would be a skill she'd be able to pick up and adapt, maybe.
Okay.
Dancing.
Now, mechanically, what this will do is this will give you a +1 in whatever social situation it applies to. So the mingling part, if you go to the butler, you get a +1 to any of your conversational checks on that to maintain etiquette. Same thing with the dancing and the dinner. So essentially what you're trying to pick is something that will either help offset what you don't know or offset any vulnerabilities you might have on your sheet, or to strengthen something you already have. Now, that being said, the checks themselves, I will be going across a whole range of different checks. So don't think that just because you're not good at athletics or you're not good dexterity-wise, you're not going to be good at dancing. Same thing with the constitution check for dinner. Like, there's going to be a wide range of checks to be made. This will just give you a bonus to help with before the tailor.
What you're saying is if I talked to the butler, I'd have a 0 across all of my charisma checks.
I might have a
When you're
minus
in
1.
conversation. The dancing and dinner checks, probably not. But if you talk to the butler in the mingling portion of it, you may manage not to make a fool of yourself.
I'm good at 5.
So
I get a -1.
to make
What's
sure
up,
I've got this straight, the rest of the session is just gonna be going over bits and odds and ends of what not to do.
No. That's going to be kind of skipped across. I'm not going to get too far into that.
We're gonna have a
because,
montage off screen.
Yeah, I don't want to weigh you guys down with actual etiquette, mostly because I don't want to come up with elven etiquette. It also gives me a little wiggle room in the actual event to say, hey, you fucked up this way, or you didn't fuck up because you accidentally did it right. That kind of thing. So this is just an option to help you guys with a particular portion of the challenge.
Get it.
Okay.
You can choose not to take it if you want to. Again, anything's available for you guys, but this is...
I already said what Varus was doing, and at that point, I'm not going to remember anything as a player, so I'm relying on character knowledge.
Okay. So you're going to the cook, you said?
No, I'm going to the servants to see what customs are the same. To see basically how much of a cheat sheet have I already started with.
Gotcha. Okay.
I'm going to the cook.
All right.
Yeah,
To the butler.
Whoever's doing the dining, I'm going to him. So that's the cook.
Can you guys do me a favor and just put that in chat if you're doing anything else? Oh, that'll work.
Wait, what?
I have a chat, doesn't matter. As long as there's a record of it.
If we put it all in one place, we can see what each other is doing.
Yeah. Oh wait, are we putting it? Oh, we're.
Put it in Discord. We'll go with that.
Okay.
Lexi, since you are a part of this, you're not going to suffer any penalties. Though you might want to take a refresher if you want to. Again.
You're muted, babe.
I guess I'll go to the butler with Maddie.
Okay. All right. So, Varys, you kind of split off from the group. Work your way through some of the servants. Start chatting. They are, at first, very concerned. They have no idea why you're here. They have no idea how a drow got in. But after...
There's someone with a knife. It
yeah.
was a little tense.
Patriff had to come in and kind of calm things down and explain that you were part of Athalia's entourage. What kind of questions do you ask them? How do you want to approach this?
Okay, look. In the tunnels, in those cities, this is how we did things. Can we compare notes and see just how much I actually have to fucking learn? Just
so,
every bit as crass and as dirty as they want to treat me.
So most of them kind of like look at you super wide-eyed and just kind of scurry away almost.
No comprendo, señor.
Yeah, some fake ass reason like, oh, actually, I got laundry to do or something along those lines. But there is a young man who just seems fascinated with you. Like, you are the coolest thing he's ever seen. Like, he didn't even know skin color could come in purple. And he's on the younger side. We're probably like the Elven equivalent
80?
of like, yeah, 75, 80, probably the Elven equivalent of like 13, 14. And he is
baby.
He's just a babe. And he's completely enamored with you. Talks your ear off. Very excitable, very like, oh man, tell me what it was like. You know, what's it like outside? What's it like as a drow? Like, tell me all these things. Tell me stories.
You see how everyone walks away from me when I try to talk to them? That's what it's like being a drow.
Oh, that sucks a whole bunch. I mean, people don't talk to me a whole bunch either, but
Golly,
I totally get it.
I don't think you do yet, kid, though I appreciate the enthusiasm.
You do pick up a few things from him. I will give you... there are some things that are the same, for sure. You're starting to get the sense that what you say doesn't necessarily matter. You do still have to say it the correct way, but people don't listen to that part. They focus on the undercurrent of the rules.
They focus on who am I talking to, not what am I saying.
Yeah, and how you're talking. You can say fuck you to somebody in the nicest possible voice, and as long as you obey the etiquette, they technically can't get offended. So I'm going to give you, let's say we won't do a demerit on anything you're not aware of. You have a good sense of what to do. At least naturally. Put it that way.
Yeah, there's enough etiquette overlap that I remember, okay, so if this is different, then I cannot worry about this.
Yeah. Yep. So you won't take any negatives for a misunderstanding. Sound good?
Oh yeah, I figure I'm going to be enough of an oddity, and I'm going to get people either accusing me of being a spy, or like, what's it like being a drow? Well, as the first person to talk to me, let me tell you.
The kid is attached to your hip, by the way. Pretty much the entire time you're in the servants' quarters now. He is directly by your side. anything you ask for, he runs and gets it. He coordinates anything you need. He shows you the best room, at least in his opinion, because he can hide in the closet, and there's this cool little crawl space back there. Yeah, he is, again, completely enamored with you.
Well, screw it. Everybody needs a follower.
Petriff seems to kind of look down at him and look up at you and give that warm, maternal smile, yeah, you're good with kids. Or at least he likes you kind of thing.
I'm not bad with kids, I think is what you're looking for.
Yeah, exactly. Okay. We'll go with Othrix. Othrix and Hallis. Hallis is back, though. Are you in the car, Hallis? Is that why you popped back in? Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, I'm on mobile.
Gotcha. Okay. So the cook is probably the only fat elf you've ever met or even heard of. The dude is portly. If you think an old English colonel, just put knife ears on him and that's the fucking cook.
Does he have the
Got
mustache?
a big
Please
old,
tell me he has the mustache.
He does have the mustache. He has the mustache rolling into the sideburns.
Yes!
And as you walk back, he kind of looks over at both of you. You must be Lady Athalia's. And just keeps chopping potatoes directly over the pot.
Yes, we are her companions, and we understand there's to be a gala tonight. And we would like... she suggested we come to you for instruction as to the correct manners for how to eat, how to negotiate such a dinner. Now, I have experience in other societies in such an event, just not here.
He looks over at Hallis for a moment and goes, does he ever shut up?
No.
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 Good lord, you're talkative for a lizard.
Dragon.
Right, yeah. You're a spotted lizard here, alright? I've fought bigger ones than you in that forest out there, let me tell you. And I will tell you, but I'm not here to tell you that. I'm here to tell you how to eat. And obviously I know how to eat. The whole time he's looking at you, he's got a massive meat cleaver and is literally going full speed with a bare hand behind the potato and just cutting it. And he looks at both of you and kind of shakes his head. There's a lot to cover. Well, let me tell you, especially if you've never done this before. You look all prissy, though, so I think you know how to eat. And you look like you've had a few yourself, so you probably know how to eat, too. So we're not going to cover things like, actually eating, but we will cover things like what silverware to use, because I have a feeling that neither of you will know that. Yes, including you, Prissy Pants, over there.
I think he's talking to you, Alice.
Holds up a reversed fork.
So,
what the fuck is this?
He tells you that there's so you start getting informed that there's an undercurrent to dinner. Okay. Dinner isn't there to consume. Dinner is there to almost be ceremonial. It's delicious, best food that's been served. It is certainly a treat to have. But the chefs will organize their plate into a specific pattern to consume. Basically, the chefs try to make a story out of the dish itself. It's very lauded. It's very prissy. It's very, as he puts it,
Elven.
It's very elven. So to go out of that order is considered really improprietous. To use, even if it's offered, there are certain condiments that you can use on certain things. If you use it out of order, or sometimes if you use it at all, it will bite you in the butt. Throw off the flavor profile. Sometimes they'll offer things like hors d'oeuvres. You're not supposed to partake of them if you have this certain type of dish. Things like that. Also, alcohol consumption. That's a big part of it. You have to drink enough to be social, but you can't drink enough to get drunk. At least, unless you're pretending not to be drunk. There's a whole shtick to it that he describes to you in his very bellicose way. But at the end of it, it takes about 2 or 3 hours. The whole time he's waving the meat cleaver in your face, like, it's aggressive, but he's just kind of using it to point. Very crass, but it's very clear he knows what he's talking about. You think he may have done one of these before, and just didn't have a taste for it. But yeah, no, you walk away with it. You guys get a +1 to dinner etiquette checks. So anytime something might be, if I say, hey, get the +1 to it, it might be considered improper if you don't make it. Then we have Zabatla. Athalia, what are you doing, by the way? I think I asked that already.
I said I was gonna go with the butler.
Okay. So
Girls' night.
Girls' night. So you guys go up to the butler. He has always been a very stoic person. His emotional state is more told by how he holds himself. Subtle shifts in position. If he reaches out and makes physical contact, he is overwhelmingly happy. In this particular case, he reaches forward and places both of his hands on your shoulders with a small smile and say, "It is immensely satisfying to have you back, Lady Athalia. We really thought we had lost you." And he kind of looks between you with the warm smile and up to the, up and up and up to Bia. And he almost seems
going.
He almost seems like, as he keeps going up with his eyes, it's like, holy crap, does she not end? Finally matching your eyes. And you would be... Ooh,
Yeah.
What the fuck was that? I'm sure you guys heard that. I saw my fucking reticle light up.
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
Sounded like a firework.
That was.
I don't know why it's on March 16th, but it is.
St. Patrick's Day is tomorrow.
Leftover
But
pie day.
fireworks? I mean, I guess drunk people do drunk things.
Yeah, I was gonna say, Sarge, you're in mid-Michigan. Like, do you need me to walk you through drunk logic?
That's true. We also have the fireworks store right down the fucking road.
Free
Like in
samples.
the terrorism supersystem.
Yeah, terrorism superstore. Hardware store and fireworks, because that's not a bad combination under any circumstances.
Nah, you just need to add an agricultural supply store, and you have everything you need. Ouch.
It's Michigan. That's every That's every store.
God bless Michigan.
All right. So he nods a little bit as though kind of mulling the name over. Lady Bia. Interesting. Would you
Just Bia.
actually, Bia? Would you prefer to be called by your title?
Lady Bad Luck.
No, Captain Bia.
I'm just gonna go with that. Captain
Captain.
Bia.
And he looks over to Athalia for a moment, and you would be able to tell that there's a little confusion behind his eyes. Captain, are you military?
Ship, sir.
Navy. Sort of.
Oh.
Sort of.
Oh. And he looks at Athalia for a moment. Lady Athalia. Is that undertone of, what have you gotten involved in while you've been gone kind of thing.
Pirates? Really?
Would you prefer another title? I'm sure I have one that will please you.
I'm sure that Pirate of the High Seas wouldn't go over very well, now would it?
I'm not a pirate.
Acquisition specialist, then.
Thank you.
Otherwise known as committing the crime of piracy.
Privateer.
We shall... yeah, exactly. We shall stick with Captain Bia. I will leave it to you to discuss the matters further with anybody that asks.
Freebooter.
Mm-hmm. I'm merely a merchant.
So,
Kef.
he takes you aside. He takes you both aside, and starts explaining, using Athalia as kind of a prop, almost at the moment, how to interact with other people. shaking hands is completely out of it, out of the question. You do not make physical contact unless you know the person personally. There are very set rules of physical contact. Only when dancing and only when this occurs. And if you know the person through, I think, like a friend directly, you may do a shoulder pat, something along like very, very strict rules.
Unlike piracy, touch me, I stab you.
Pretty much.
Got it.
There's an appropriate distance to stand away from somebody. If you want to talk to them any closer, it's considered a personal violation. You are
Stay
getting
out of stabbing distance. Got it.
Yep. He also goes into things like what is considered appropriate for other people to do to you. Because he kind of looks at you. He's like, I have a feeling you're going to get a lot of interesting looks and conversation. So here's what is acceptable for other people to do. And if you don't mind these things, you'll be seen as weak in this particular instance, that you'll allow anybody to talk to you. Especially from somebody of Athalia's station, it is very important that you know who you can and cannot talk to, or who you are able to rebuff safely. And goes into things like that, giving you a few names that you can put in your pocket for people that you can kind of push off, and how to appropriately do so without offending them. At the end of it, you think you got at least a good grasp on how to not offend people politely.
It's just putting this in terms of stabbing, like remain at least one pike's distance away from these people and one dagger from them, and
Yep. He doesn't seem real shaken by it. Like, you can tell that at first he's a little off put, but he's like, kind of, fuck it. If this is how she wants to remember it, at least she's remembering it. We'll teach it this way. So through all of this all takes about 3 hours or so. At which point the tailor does show up. While it's a very thin woman, almost to the point of being gaunt, but she has several servants behind her that are carrying literal bundles of cloth. And there's a wagon outside. There is a shit ton of materials and tools. And she looks like she just ran over here. Like, she is panting, she's sweating, she's got big old glasses on with a couple different magnifications. Lady Athalia, I am so happy that you called on my services again. I really thought I would never come to this house again. Well, not this house. I was in the other house. But, I mean, you understand. I understand that you're in desperate need of gala-style clothing.
Yeah.
Okay. I think we can throw something together. This is going to be my greatest challenge, for sure. And she looks at Varys and Bia, respectively. This is going to be
You haven't even seen the scaly one.
I'm sorry?
Hey, Arthur.
He's got rainbows.
Oh, boy.
And a tail.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh, boy.
You're gonna need to make a new pattern.
So,
She seems a little shocked at first, but then she go ahead.
Sorry. Arthurix just kind of pokes his head out from the door. Yes?
Oh, you will do nicely. Such beautiful colors. And she starts to approach with her hands out, almost entranced, but she's looking at your scales and your crest.
Yeah, Atrix, you'll do nicely.
She starts backing up until probably he hits a wall.
Mm-hmm. She gets real close and just starts flicking lenses so that they come out pretty far from her eyes, and just analyzing you, muttering to herself.
Hey, Arthurix, what are you thinking? What are you thinking? Something really slimming. I'm thinking something revealing. Reveal all the scales.
No, something.
You gotta accentuate the plumage.
I have always the silver
It's
shore.
tradition.
The silver shore.
Something leather
style.
and small.
No, what?
She has now reached out and is pressing her hands into the floof for a moment, like testing it. You're not sure if she's doing it because she's analyzing you for something to dress you up in, or analyzing you for you to be something somebody else dresses up in.
I'm not helping.
Yes, you beautiful specimen. You, and like reaches up and pats your cheeks, and then flicks all it, like spontaneously just snaps up. Like she has way too much energy in her body at the moment. Okay, here's what I'm thinking. So, here's what I want you guys to do for me real quick. Athalia, you can relate to everybody that one of the key parts of a gala is obviously to show off.
Mm-hmm.
One of the ways they do that, especially with a magically rich bloodline, is you infuse that magic in whatever you can. In this particular case, they use their magic for cosmetic purposes to boost the visual appeal of their clothing, especially in galas. So what I'm allowing everybody to do is you can pick a spell or a class feature and imbue that into your clothing to give it a more visually appealing sense.
Where's my handbook?
From our own class or from
That's
any
correct.
class?
From your own. Things that you
I was gonna-
can do.
Let me guess, Arthur. Prestidigitation. Always look nice and whatever you want to look like.
Yes, but I've got something else in mind. I'm working on it.
So something to consider is one of the ideas I had was the use of Mage Hand to give you a multiple arms that can reach out and articulate as though they are floating through the dress or the suit. Can articulate, can move things, can hold things up, essentially giving you an ethereal feel.
I already know which one I'm doing.
I got one.
Okay.
I see that.
I'm not sure how intimidating I want to be.
I mean, if you want to play it up, we can play it up.
Yeah, fuck it. Let's really play up that whole paladin thing.
Okay. How would you like to do it? What are you thinking about?
Are we talking about... Oh, I'm sorry. Real quick. Are we talking about spells we already know?
Yes.
Damn it!
Yeah, either a spell that you have either know, like on your spell list, selectable from your spell slots, I should say, or class features. So, like, John would be able to use one of his channel divinity charges in order to push that into his clothing.
That's what I was thinking, seeing as Guardian of the Light is a very elvish thing.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
You know.
you'd certainly make an impact, too. A dark elf walking in dressed in complete light.
I mean, yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So what channel divinity do you want to use for
Let
this?
me look at my channel divinity
I got mine.
options. You know what? Nature's Wrath sounds appropriate.
Nature's Wrath. Describe that to me.
Well, let's see. What it does is it causes spectral vines to ensnare the target within 10 feet that you can see. Target must succeed on strength or deck. You know, it's summoning vines.
Okay. All right. How would you like this to manifest?
I've got to be 100% honest. You're beginning to ask a level of questions that I leave under just make it look nice.
Okay. So what I think we'll go ahead and do is that you can have a green robe, really nice green robe with like pleated hems, and then each accessory, like the cuffs, the belt, things like that, will be vines that are alive and consistently moving and basically giving your whole robe the feeling that it's alive and growing on you.
I dig it. Seeing as I see drows as all things of death.
Mm-hmm. That would be really cool.
Also, big ass symbol of Shadal on the back.
Fuck yes, do it. I
mean like boxer robe level logo here.
And for effect, since it's channel divinity, it will be resplendent. That symbol.
That's fine.
Okay. Big, ostentatious. Yes, I'm a paladin. I like living things. Fuck
I'm
you.
a paladin. I am of Shadal, and you all can kiss my ass.
I love it. A big middle finger. All right, Othrix.
I'm debating between Ray of Frost or Acid Breath.
I'd say go with Ray of Frost because
Yeah.
then you can be all like sparkly.
Yeah, like sparkly, like essentially like half clothing, half
Black
ice.
ice.
Yeah, black ice. Ah!
It should be. I think because of how rainbow you are, you want something that is a little more muted and naturally plays off of your natural appearance.
I would say you probably still want it to be somewhat reflective, sticking with that whole like. You want it to complement the scales, but you don't want it to be more colorful in your scales. So yeah,
Yeah.
black, like a black ice look would be fantastic.
In
Um,
some places matte, in some places translucent.
Ooh, I like
I'm
that.
thinking that it's going to take a hint of a design element from Bia's almost naval style collar, like that double breasted,
Yeah.
in that completely black, clear glass opalescent buttons, and then the entire thing will shimmer as though you are a moving ice sculpture.
I like it.
And finally, as you're walking, it will mist behind you.
I like it.
Ice is dissolving.
I'm a mysterious sorcerer.
Fuck yes.
I'm going to live up to every obnoxious paladin stereotype.
Please do. Oh my god, this is going to be so much fun.
I am going to go full lawful asshole on these people.
Bia, what are you thinking?
This is so perfect because of the design that I've been working on. Means I get to put magic on that shit. I am using my Storm Fury, which is a lightning aura. I want to have a dress that shimmers almost like it's lightning through clouds. Like a storm.
How about with that dress? Because it's the second one that you were looking at, right? On here?
No, I'm drawing my own.
Okay, sorry.
That's okay. I don't think
so
that
I'm thinking
particular dress would fit with her body type.
that's true. So I'm thinking that something with a deep neck back, so that you can show off the tattoos. Number one.
She doesn't have tattoos.
Oh, I thought she did.
No,
she's
she
gone up and down
Maddie
the
was
dark
all-
shore.
Maddie was
Oh.
researching them in case
Gotcha.
Bia ever got tattoos.
I was drawing them for funsies and using Bia as a reference tool for that, but she doesn't actually have any tattoos. She only has her Goliath birthmarks all over.
Do you know how hard it is to tattoo a Goliath?
Yeah.
Yeah, you need a mithril needle at least.
There's a 200% upcharge just for labor.
But she does have natural, like, she has the Goliath birthmarks that are like look like lightning burns almost, but colored all over her bald body.
So something I think would be really interesting, that deep V back, and it kind of poofs out at the bottom, like just tints out a little bit. But your sash, the dress itself, it shifts colors. It goes between gray and black, as though it's a rolling thunderstorm. Your sash is completely yellow, like lightning. And every now and then, the sash itself will send out a lightning-shaped color down the dress, as though it's actually thunderstorming.
Is it possible to go for like a nearly white blue instead of yellow?
Yeah, that's fine.
And
It's your dress. I'm throwing out an idea.
yeah, I was thinking of doing a modified version of a sari, but like older version of it, like 4th century. So I have it really billowy on one side and then closer fitting in other places, and then the whole like revealing back and shit.
Okay, I'm cool with that.
It's gonna be cool, but it's
That's
gonna be
gonna be
long
really
and
cool.
have a little train.
All right.
Just realizing we look like a very nature-y party.
Yeah. I mean, you guys kind of are.
We look like the Greek pantheon. It's amazing. Othrix is Hades. You're freaking Demeter. I'm totally pulling a Zeus right now, and or Hephaestus. Depends on what you're going for. But
Eat a Snickers. You pull a Zeus when you get hungry.
I fuck everything and fuck up everything.
I want to bone that
I mean,
goose.
you said it, not me.
Your dress will also give you the tinge of ozone around you.
Nice.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
That's
Athalia,
perfect.
Yes.
what would you like?
I was just gonna use my Misty Step
Oh.
Ooh.
to give like a misty aura around me, so it always kind of looks like I'm stepping out of the mist.
Why not take it a step further and make the dress out of mist?
Or that too.
That seems appropriately ostentatious.
I
Yeah.
love it.
Like,
All right, let's do that.
that is the level of ostentatious where I would go, girl, you're being extra.
As expected for a family head.
And a bard.
Princess.
Not a fucking princess.
Yeah, I think that would be really cool.
Okay.
And then I'll work with Hallis once he's off from work and figure out what he wants to do.
Mm-hmm.
If he walks in a full suit of armor, I'm going to laugh.
Chunk. Chunk.
Slide to the left.
He's gonna be wearing like Henry VIII's armor, essentially.
Everybody
Codpiece and all.
All right, so you guys have appropriate
Duds.
gowns. She takes all of your ideas. This almost frail looking woman, and as you're talking, as she's pitching the ideas, and you're taking them, and she seems to take out a few sticks and stones and kind of like move them around your body, and in some cases either asks you to perform the spell or channels it, essentially. And right there in front of you, she's looping cloth over her arms. She's measuring, she's cutting on the fly, but she's not using any physical tools. She's using her fingers. So the cutting motion is literally just her holding her index and middle finger and just scooting across the fabric, and it's splitting in front of her.
Screw her. I want that. IRL.
And as she kind of loops the fabrics around and puts them together, she pinches her fingers together on the hem and just pulls it, and it's stitched, almost as though the fabric had never been torn in the first place. And she is just a flurry of activity. She works on Othrix for like 5-10 minutes, and then she's like, wait a minute, scoots over to Athalia and starts literally pulling clouds out of fabric.
I'm like half naked, just standing there. What?
Yeah, exactly. So she hops from person to person. She gets all of the materials together. She's talking and yammering to herself the whole time. Othrix, she on more than one occasion touches your floof when she doesn't need to.
Just kind of shudder a little bit each time.
And finally, as they're all done, she leans back, and one of her assistants puts a stool directly under her, and she just falls back into it, breathing real heavy, sweat baiting her forehead and dripping off of her ears. She's got like small stains on her clothing, and but finally she's like, done. Holy crap, that was amazing. That was better than drugs, let me tell you. And
You know.
yeah,
She's Edna from The Incredibles.
kinda.
Mode.
Edna Maud, come back, darling. We love having you here.
Mm.
I love our talks. And she kind of looks out the window. It has gotten much darker. It's been another 4 hours. You guys have been standing in one place, with frequent breaks when she hops from person to person. But it has been a frantic set of hours. But at long last, after all of this, you guys are ready for the gala.
Yay.
Lucky for you, because it's in like an hour. So you guys have an option. Either we can continue. I know it's only been 3.5 hours. I can introduce the gala, but me personally, I'd rather wait till next time so that we can do the whole session.
Yeah.
I am
understand
100% fine waiting till next time.
that. Yeah.
Okay.
Just so we're all
Same.
here.
So I can draw my dress.
Yeah.
Pretty.
I mean, if you want to, you can try everybody else's too.
No.
No, I've got a paying commission, so I'm gonna do mine today and then work
Gotcha.
on that.
Actually, how much would it be to commission a picture of the party in their outfits?
I'll chip
It would
in.
depend. That would depend. I've got one commission I'm working on right now, and it would depend if you wanted like full detail, full color, and the size you wanted.
Okay. I'll talk to you soon.
I will happily chip in for that.
Yeah, let me know. I'll chip
Same.
in whatever's required.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that one. That might be a like depends on what my school work's like when I get back to classes this
Yeah.
coming week.
Yeah.
Hey, Garrett. I'm going to hit you up, or you hit me up sometime within the next day or two, and we'll discuss what you want to do with it. It may or may not give you guys benefits in the scenarios. So we'll go from there. Sweet. Okay, so we'll end it there. I had a blast. I think definitely I'm excited for the next couple things I have planned out, because I have essentially this arc ready to go. I know what I want to do with it. And it's going to hit on all of the big topics that you guys wanted me to hit, as well as a few extras thrown in. We shouldn't have any more real exposition dumps like that. If anybody needs information through as we move forward, please ask. I know this was a lot to take in. I know a lot of it didn't sink in, and that's perfectly fine. I tried to use the handouts to help. If you need a personality or a picture, they're there. If you need any more information, just let me know.
Got it.
But yeah, do we want to do good thing, bad thing?
Sure. I mean, it's traditional.
such a resounding.
I was waiting
Yeah.
for Josh to start talking about the good thing, bad thing.
Fucking a lot
Yeah.
of people.
I mean, you're up top, dude. It's your own fault for having
Yeah.
a fucking C starting name.
How do I... What?
Yep, it's your own fault. Sorry, you picked it.
No, what?
You picked this.
I don't have a C.
Yeah, you do.
Your
Side dwarf.
username does.
Is that how it goes? My fucking...
Yeah.
Okay, fine.
I look at the Discord chat and I go top to bottom.
Oh my god. Okay, fine.
That's
Fine.
why Garrett's always last.
All right. Good thing is, I like Authorix kind of being thrown a little bit more in his element. This is going to be fun. I'm looking forward to this. I like where he's starting to get on the ball a little bit.
On
Yeah,
the ball.
yeah, I know. And it's going to be fun to see. I think it's also, I'm kind of excited to start kind of showing the party a little bit more of his background that can be revealed through this. So I'm looking, this could be interesting. And downside, downside. Yeah, I was hoping for a bit more interaction, like in party and in city, but I think that's just because of time constraints right now. So yeah,
Okay.
that's it.
All right. Maddie?
Had to remember I was on push to talk. Good thing would be I get to cross another D&D bucket list item off, which is go to a fancy ball in an enchanted dress with a character that shouldn't be at the ball.
In a
That's
fancy
the
dress.
key one. I've with a really really big muscular character at a fancy ball has been my goal for Dungeons and Dragons. Bad thing, I would have really liked more options for interaction and seeing how everything's going, because I know Bia's really curious about how Athalia is doing, but didn't feel like there was any quiet moments to really be like, hey, are you okay? This seems a little weird. Homecomings are hard because this is especially something that Bia hasn't thought of, is what if she ever were to go home, what that would be like. So she's kind of curious and wondering how Athalia's doing with a semi-similar situation.
Okay.
But yeah, so dresses.
Lexi?
Good thing. It was nice to get to play. It was nice to kind of get to know some of what's going on in the city since I left, because I know you and I talked about some of what was going on before game, but I kind of like that I left a lot of it up to you. So that it's more of a surprise and it's more like I know what's going on.
Okay.
Like I know some of it and I'm like, oh hey, I know that person. I didn't know they did this. And then the bad thing was just it was a lot of just talking and less role playing. And I wanted a little more role playing and
Okay.
stuff in the group today.
Gotcha. John?
Good thing. Yay, we're moving forward. I'm looking forward to seeing Varys in this situation, though I don't know if the rest of the party is just quite yet, because if I don't punch a noble at this thing, I'm going to consider myself to have failed. Bad thing, I'm kind of going to echo Maddie and Lex here. I understand you were going for a natural feel of the of how to deliver the information, but it kind of worked out the opposite. It just we didn't find anything out. We were just told everything.
Gotcha.
And I understand that Athalia's character would know all this, but she's also hasn't been here in a couple hundred years. I understand elves move slow, but you know it sounds like she left you yesterday as far as everyone's opinions go. Which you know that's fine. That is a thing that happens. Not everyone gets their shit together about that kind of stuff.
Right.
But it did feel a little odd. I don't quite have the word to describe how I the words to describe what I feel about that.
Okay.
But yeah, would have liked a little more natural opportunity to discover stuff or role play. Because it's fucking awesome to get to, you know, again, the natural moments would be the Bia and Varys show is sometimes a riot when it gets to be put on.
Right.
The circus. The Afro circus.
It's a circus. Let's be real. It's a fucking circus.
I really enjoy it too. Yeah, I can see where I slipped up on that one. To be completely honest, this part of it I hadn't planned. Looking back on it, I should have had you guys go into the court so you could ask them all questions and figure out all this information.
Oh yeah, or overhear stuff, or you know, use our knowledge of
figure it out via context.
You know, again, Varys is older than this feud. I imagine even if the Drow are separate, they know the elves are having a little bit of a disagreement.
Yeah. Okay. Good notes. I definitely can take that moving forward.
Well, I'm glad about that. I do enjoy where you're trying to go with this game. I just exposition is tough at the best of times.
Mm-hmm.
And expositing a 500-year-old Elven issue is not easy.
Truth.
He speaks the true.
He speaks the true. Yep. So I know where I want to go with this. This feedback lets me go back through and look at it again. So instead of just planning session by session, I'm actually like trying to plan it out. So this helps me a lot.
A piece of advice:
Mhm.
you don't need to give us like here's your role play time. You
Mhm.
just need to give us stuff happening that we can react to, and I'm pretty confident most, if not all of us, can run with that and go from there.
Okay. Sound about right to everybody?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Awesome. All right. Garrett, if you want to pipe in, you can.
I'm guessing you can't.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's fine. You can hit me up later. Good thing for me, it was nice to get you guys oriented in the city. And to kind of start involving you in something that's, tangentially related. I know it's going to get better. But yeah, honestly, my bad thing reflects all yours. Like, it was a lot, and I could have done it better. But that's,
You're also kind of rusty at this.
yeah, I'm not holding myself like down about it. Like, I'm not getting depressed or anything. It's a good note. I noticed it in my own actions. I tried to correct it. It was a little bit too late, though. I was excited to get back, and you guys know me. When I get excited, I talk. So,
Oh no!
yeah, I know, right?
No, you.
I really can't
It's-
believe it.
I know, it's just completely out there. I know it's surprising to everybody. So it's something I got to work on myself. But I will, like I said, I'll go back through what I have planned already. Look at it through that lens of, okay, am I telling what's going on, or am I allowing them to explore it? And I think that will help a lot. I'll definitely be seeking more opinions on it too, and seeing if I'm making sense and giving you guys enough space to actually play the game. So I'm glad this didn't drag on too long. I didn't want to make it feel like nobody accomplished anything. I'm really happy with how the dresses and stuff came out, the clothing. I'm really happy with the interactions with you guys
Pretty.
and the servants. There will be more role playing next session. I guarantee it. There almost cannot be.
I'm imagining
Can't not to be.
I'm imagining the poster. There will be blood, but there will be roleplay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there will be role play.
I
Whether you want
guarantee
to or
it.
not.
You're gonna like the way
Cool.
you roleplay. I guarantee it.
Guarantee it. Ding. All right, cool. I think we can end the stream there.
Cool.
Unless anybody has anything else to say.
Fuck you, stream.
Sarge is a nerd.
Screw the internet. I mean, what?
What?
All right.
No.
Yeah, kinda. Sarge, you popping over to the house before you gotta work, or do you have to work today?
Stopping
or-
the
I do
stream.
have to work
Bye,
today.
stream.
Lame.
Bye, stream.
Bye,
Bye.
stream.
Bye, stream.